This, I don't know either. Qiu gently shakes her head saying. Just this simple action brought up a roaring wave in the front of her chest, making Ling Chen's eyes continuously jump, uncontrollably staring fiercely at her shaking breasts. He then silently bit his teeth and rapidly retracted his gaze, not daring again to look at her. How do you not know? You're its item spirit. Towards this answer, Ling Chen clearly didn't believe it. But, I really don't know. Actually, I can't really be considered the item spirit of Lunar Scourge, I'm just a spirit that's been sealed in here. I don't know a lot of things about Lunar Scourge. Qiu replied with a soft voice, that voice making Ling Chen's entire body lose its strength. Lunar Scourge cannot be taken off, do I really have to spend every day with her from now on? Thinking here, a layer of cold sweat actually appeared on Ling Chen's forehead. Being able to regularly spend time with such a woman is undoubtedly any regular man's dream. But Ling Chen deeply understands the terrifying power of this woman's natural seductiveness. He is unable to not worry that he will be unable to control this woman, and will instead one day be controlled by his woman. Not the item spirit? A spirit that has been sealed here? What does that mean? Ling Chen furrowed his brows asking. This is my secret, I cannot tell you. Qiu suddenly gave a soft smile, red lips delicately opening, a soft voice carrying a fragrant air rising up beside Ling Chen's ears. Little master, do you feel that Lunar Scourge's negative elements are a big nuisance? Lunar Scourge possesses the most terrifying strength. Lunar Scourge under a complete state will greatly surpass your imagination. Its existence makes even the heavens afraid, and the person that can conquer Lunar Scourge will suffer the envy of the heavens. So, regardless of who wears Lunar Scourge, the rules of this world will forcibly restrict his rate of growth. But, how can the might of Lunar Scourge be offset but such a little bit of negative influence? Little master, do you know, as long as you can find any of Lunar Scourge's exclusive god orbs or saint orbs, just one, you will immediately know that its negative elements really don't mean anything at all. Exclusive god orbs and saint orbs. You and Lunar Scourge should have been here for a lot of years, right? Let's not talk about first whether or not they've already been destroyed by the God clan. Even if they still exist, that level of items has either been obtained by powerful beings or are located at incredibly dangerous locations that even the strongest beings are unable to reach. I don't even know where they are. Even if I did, what qualifications do I have to obtain them? Ling Chen said sternly. The effect of a fairy-grade orb is already so amazing. How powerful mysterious god-grade and saint-destroyer-grade orbs are is easy to imagine. If he is able to obtain one, it would definitely be enough for him run wild among players. But, orbs of this grade, regardless of whether they exist or not right now. If they exist, how could they be so easy to obtain? Don't say mysterious god and saint destroyer, even heaven end grade items are things that even in late game are impossible for players to obtain. What Ling Chen said is very reasonable. Yet, Qiu continued to have a slight smile like before, leisurely saying, Little master, I will of course help you find them. The Moon God clan will indeed want to destroy them at any cost, but as long as Lunar Scourge is not destroyed, its exclusive god orbs and saint orbs will also never be destroyed. At the same time, the 12 god orbs and 3 saint orbs can only release their power when socketed onto Lunar Scourge. Others, no matter if they are humans, gods or devils, if they obtain one, not only will they be unable to use any of its power, it could even bring upon them misfortune. They would think that every second they have it is a second too long. Qiu pursed her lips smiling, and then slowly said another line, Little master, I understand the annoyance and worry that you have in your heart. But, all of your worries will all completely disappear. Because, right in this underground space, there exists an exclusive god orb. Ling Chen was dazed for a moment, and then quickly asked, Where? There is an exclusive god orb here. It's a god orb, a mysterious god-grade energy orb. The level of value of a mysterious god-grade energy orb is even comparable to a piece of mysterious god-grade equipment. If he is really able to obtain such an item right now, that's a mysterious god-grade item. Then, even if it's the negative effects of heaven's jealousy, he can completely accept them. The eagerness in Ling Chen's expression made the witch smile even more bewitchingly. It is right with that big guy that is protecting this place before here. Although that big guy has already slept for too many years, he's already lost his sense of alertness, allowing little master to walk over here so easily. The big guy guarding this place before here. Cao Tai. The nature of the big guy is greedy and short-tempered, making him guard this place for so many years has really been too hard on him. Who knew that he actually really endured for so many years, not leaving even until now? Lunar Scourge's Gemini orb is on his body. Right now you have Lunar Scourge, he will not hurt you. In addition, he will unconditionally give the Gemini orb to you on his own. If he's in a good mood, he might even give you some other gifts. Little master, do you want to go find that big guy right now? Let's go. Ling Chen did not hesitate, directly walking towards the passageway back to the 6th area. He really wants to offset the negative effects brought by Lunar Scourge. He especially wants to know, how powerful of an ability does a legendary mysterious god orb possess? Qiu gave a slight smile, following behind him and maintaining a distance of 2 to 3 steps. Even though Ling Chen is walking in front, he can still smell the hazy fragrance coming from Qiu's body. He admits, this atmosphere made him intoxicated. This woman behind him, once you get caught in her charms, virtually any man would be unable to escape. While walking, the images of him heavily rubbing her breasts before constantly appeared in his mind. He secretly shook his head many times, but the more he wants to put aside these images, the more he cannot do so. Moreover, that unbelievably soft and silky feeling flooded his mind, unable to be forgotten. Even the impulse of turning around and grabbing towards her breasts appeared in his mind many times, to enjoy that ultimate feeling. A spirit as strong as his, being able to maintain his composure even while facing Shui Ruo's naked body so many times, this is the first time that he has the feeling of being unable to control himself towards a woman. Which? Little master, are you thinking about whether or not you want to touch my breasts? Behind him, Qiu's soft voice traveled over. Ling Chen's feet staggered, and then his footsteps quickened, not even turning his head and walking forward. Behind him, a series of charming, bewitching laughter rose up. This time Ling Chen did not purposely hide his aura. The instant that he walked out of the passage, an endlessly massive sense of danger came from the front, making him abruptly stop his footsteps. Cao Tai's massive body once again appeared in his vision. Right at the instant that he stepped into here, Cao Tai woke up from its deep slumber, being accompanied by a series of deep, earth-shattering roars. Hugh, the deep voice made Ling Chen's eardrums and entire body feel very uncomfortable. Cao Tai's body stood up. When it stood up, its body reached a height of more than 50 meters. In front of its colossal body, Ling Chen felt as insignificant as an ant. Only now did he discover that its eyes are actually not on its head, but under its armpits. Under each armpit a black and green eye bigger than Ling Chen's body opened, a terrifying gaze locking onto his body. Or to be more precise, locking onto Lunar Scourge on his wrist. Who are you? The aura of danger suddenly weakened by a lot. The awoken Cao Tai did not launch an attack, instead facing Ling Chen and releasing a thunderous voice like a human's. Cao Tai's voice was like it came from space. Its vibration made all of the blood in Ling Chen's body boil. The pressure from a mysterious god beast cannot be looked down upon. Even Ling Chen feels like he is suffocating when facing this massive beast. He believes that if this Cao Tai forcibly locks onto him with its aura, he won't even be able to move, don't mention fight it. Mysterious god beasts are creatures that players can absolutely not defeat. This is not nonsense, but common knowledge. Ling Chen breathed in a deep breath. Right when he is about to answer, Qiu, who was behind him, walked beside him, opening her mouth first and saying, "Hey big guy, not seeing you for so many years, I didn't think that you would still be guarding here. I'm actually a little moved, you know. I may be greedy, brutal, and called a beast of extreme evil by the world, but I am never ungrateful. I especially don't go back on every word that I've said. 10,000 years, for me it is just a short flash. Only I didn't think that just 10,000 years have passed and another person that has gained Lunar Scourge's attachment has already appeared. Little girl, looks like your destiny may be a bit better than expected. Exactly what the future will be like, everything still needs to depend on your own hard work. My promise is to protect Lunar Scourge before it can find a new host, but that does not include protecting and helping you." Tao Tai stood there not moving. When the sound of his voice traveled over, Ling Chen did not see its massive mouth move at all. He doesn't know where the voice comes from. Another person that Lunar Scourge has attached to, is it that 10,000 years ago, Lunar Scourge was attached to a person? Don't know if that person was like me and conquered Lunar Scourge, or if that person became Lunar Scourge's puppet. A long silence. Ling Chen felt a gaze that made his entire body tense, looking attentively at his body. To think that this kind of thing would happen, Lunar Scourge, was actually conquered by a human. No doubt it is related to the fact that all of Lunar Scourge's pillars of power have been dispersed, but this human is also definitely not an ordinary human. Being able to pass through here under my awareness is already enough to highlight his extraordinariness. Tao Tai's voice rose up, his tone no longer calm. "Yo, big guy, that's a very dishonorable excuse. Little master being able to enter inside is entirely because you were sleeping like a log, that's it." Qiu's fine eyebrows slightly raised, saying insultingly. Tao Tai's massive face revealed a slight sense of embarrassment. He very rationally chose to not argue with Qiu about this topic, instead facing towards Ling Chen. "Human, do you know how shocking of an accomplishment you have achieved? Completely conquering Lunar Scourge, this is an unprecedented event, even the strongest moon god at the time was unable to do so." "Ling Chen, I said before that this has a big relation with Lunar Scourge's power being scattered. Under a complete state, destroying your mind would be an insignificant task for Lunar Scourge. But no matter what, you are the first person to conquer Lunar Scourge. You are also the first master of Lunar Scourge, and that little girl. You are also the person that is about to make Lunar Scourge resurface in the world after a 10,000 years of silence. Obtaining Lunar Scourge, you will gradually gain the world's strongest power. But, you will also receive the most difficult mission. You need to, in a short period of time, before the Moon God clan discovers the reappearance of Lunar Scourge, collect all 12 God orbs and all 3 Saint orbs. After that, you will possess the power to confront the entire Moon God clan. Because once they discover the reappearance of Lunar Scourge, they will definitely do whatever it takes to destroy you and Lunar Scourge. If you do not have enough strength to oppose them, you will be unable to protect Lunar Scourge and especially yourself." Ling Chen suddenly lifts his head, the muscles on his face twitching. "If Lunar Scourge is discovered, I will suffer the full power of the Moon God clan." The fuck? Being hunted down by the Moon God clan. Ah! Lunar Scourge's negative impact isn't just heaven's jealousy and heaven's wrath, it will even lead to being hunted by gods. Any random oracle from the Moon God clan is already the god of a continent. Being hunted by the entire Moon God clan, is there something even scarier than this? Ling Chen immediately felt that Lunar Scourge on his left wrist was like a hedgehog. But right now, even though he is its master, he is completely unable to take it off. "Human, are you afraid?" While Ling Chen was tangled in his thoughts, Tao Tai's heavy, deep voice suddenly sounded beside his ears. "Afraid?" Ling Chen shakes his head and then lifts his head, staring straight at Tao Tai's massive pupil. "No, I am nervous. Nervous towards the uncertain feeling that Lunar Scourge has brought to my potential fate. You need to know, nervous and afraid are two completely different things. There is only one thing in this world that can make me feel afraid, but it is definitely not death and destruction. Ling Shui Ruo's Israk was once the only thing that he was afraid of. Ling Shui Ruo's safety, right now, is still the only source that can make him feel afraid. Death and destruction? He can no longer remember exactly how many times he has danced around the edge of death. That kind of thing, how can it make him afraid? He, human, I like your answer. That's right, from your eyes I truly cannot see fear this kind of thing. Even though I have not seen the world for 10,000 years, but of all the humans that I have seen there is not a single one that has eyes as deep and dark as yours. Looks like, you are a human with a story. Being able to conquer Lunar Scourge has also determined that you will not be ordinary. Even without Lunar Scourge, in the future on Forgotten Continent you would still be able to spread your name throughout the entire world. This is the first time that I have developed interest towards a human's past, but I will not ask you. You who have obtained Lunar Scourge, regardless of your past, your future has been determined. Have you really thought about it? A future that has been determined? What do you mean? Ling Chen suddenly frowns. After a short silence, Tao Tai's gaze fell upon Qiyu's body, and then returns back to Ling Chen. Looks like the little girl did not tell you. No matter, what I care about is only the survival of Lunar Scourge. What does your fate have to do with me? Another bloodthirsty demon appearing on Forgotten Continent also has nothing to do with me. Human, even in the eyes of the lowest of the gods amongst the Moon God clan your strength is unbearably small. They can exterminate you into nothingness in the time it takes to snap their fingers. Go look for the God Orbs and Saint Orbs, the little girl will direct you. Only by collecting all of Lunar Scourge's exclusive orbs will you have the strength to confront the entire Moon God clan, and I mean the entire Moon God clan. Ling Chen, the determined fate that he talked about, exactly what is it? Is it the fate of being destined to go against the entire Moon God clan? Then, take this. Ling Chen was about to ask when a white light suddenly flashed past his eyes. A white pearl slowly floated down from up high, falling towards his position. Is this one of Lunar Scourge's exclusive orbs that Qiyu said is in Tao Tai's hands? Mysterious God Orb. Thinking of these three words, Ling Chen's heart immediately started jump uncontrollably, ba-bump ba-bump. He looked at this white pearl falling down, and then stretched out his hand, carefully holding it in his hands. The pearl is about as big as his palm. Ling Chen is just right able to hold it single-handedly. In the entirely silver, semi-transparent sphere, a Gemini is fuzzily displayed. That is the symbol for the Gemini constellation of the 12 zodiac constellations. This is the exclusive orb for Lunar Scourge's third socket, the Gemini orb. Right now I hand it over to you. It can increase your strength by 1 time, no, by even more. Believe me, it will stimulate your desire to look for the other orbs. During that time when all the orbs were dispersed, I went through great pains and found it, but also only it. The rest of the orbs, from now on will have to depend on the combined efforts of you and the little girl. Work hard, human. Tao Tai's voice shook Ling Chen's eardrums. Ling Chen did not respond, instead looking towards the attributes Tao Tai spoke about at the first moment. A mysterious God Orb, exactly how strong of a power does it possess? Gemini Orb, type, Energy Orb, grade, Mysterious God, attributes, none, can only be socketed on Lunar Scourge. Effect, can simultaneously equip 2 weapons, and the effects of the 2 weapons stack. The 2 weapons include one-handed and two-handed weapons. When simultaneously equipping 2 weapons, two-handed weapons can be held single-handedly, stats and control will not be affected, and the 2 weapons will not affect or interfere with each other. Ling Chen. Staring at the Gemini Orb stats, Ling Chen looked at it for a whole 30 seconds. These are the stats of a mysterious God Orb. Before this he thought that the orb would inevitably be very powerful and so he already had enough mental preparation. But seeing this Gemini orb's stats with his own eyes, he still stared at it stunned for a long time. These stats aren't just amazing, they're practically insane. Way stronger than what he thought it would be. Simultaneously equipping two weapons, this kind of situation is not uncommon. A lot of virtual game world all have classes that can equip dual weapons, like dual sabers, dual sword, dual daggers. But being able to equip two two-handed weapons at the same time is completely unheard of. The reason two-handed weapons are called two-handed weapons is because under the restrictions of the virtual game world's rules the support and use of two-hand is required to use them. Their overall stats are also inevitably a lot more superior to single-handed weapons of the same type. Being able to equip two two-handed weapons, moreover the usage of the two weapons do not interfere with each other. This means that two attacks can be launched at one time with the dual weapons, casting two of the same or different skill, completely the same as one person displaying the attack ability of two people. This is practically a godlike attribute. Even scarier is that the stats of the simultaneously equipped weapons stack. This means that regardless if it's the weapon equipped in the right hand or the left hand, when attacking they can both exert the combined stats, effect and even skills of the two weapons. This kind of effect made Ling Chen virtually unable to find any descriptive words to describe its powerfulness. Not only can two attacks be launched at once, each attack also greatly surpasses the attack strength of a single-handed weapon, the increase in ability is more than one-fold. For instance, after he reaches LV10 he can equip Soaring Cloud in his left hand and Sand Blade in his right. Then he can use both hands together to cast Full Power Strike or Crescent Slash that have no cooldown time. At the same time, what he'll behold in his two hands will be two weapons that are the same as having the combined stats of Sand Blade and Soaring Cloud. A gold and a fairy, their stats after stacking will be one that surpasses fairy. And this is all gifted by this little orb. Gemini orb. Gemini. Allowing one person to be the equivalent of two people, two even stronger people. Looking at the Gemini orb stats over and over again, Ling Chen's mood could not calm down for a long time. No wonder Qiu said that I would be about to be willing to accept Lunar Scourge's negative effects, and no wonder Tao Tai said that the Gemini orb would stimulate his desire to find the rest of the orbs. The ability of Lunar Scourge's exclusive orbs are actually powerful to such a degree. Ling Chen took a deep breath and then lifted his left hand, using the method of socketing normal energy crystals and bringing the Gemini orb near Lunar Scourge's third socket. The moment they made contact a silver stream of light flashed by, the Gemini orb had already quickly shrunk. With the system notification of socketing successful, Lunar Scourge's third hole released a silver glow. Ding! Gemini orb successfully socketed. You can now simultaneously equip two weapons of any type, and the stats of the dual weapons will stack. When using them they will not affect or interfere with each other. Ding! Lunar Scourge's exclusive lunar skill unlocked. Ling Chen was dazed. Socketing an exclusive orb will also be accompanied the unlocking of an exclusive skill. This Luna chain not only can be socketed with 15 orbs, it also has its own exclusive skills. He did impatiently look towards the newly unlocked lunar skill. Instead he called out Mind Saber and then Wolf Fang Blade. One two-handed sword, one one-handed sword, just like that were being casually held in both his hands at the same time. On his stat page, regardless if it was attack strength or each of the basic attributes, what was displayed was the combined values of the two swords. Author's note, P.S. I am a Libra, and so it has been determined that the Libra orb will be the coolest, most amazing orb. Do you guys have a problem with that, huh? If you have any suggestions for the orb of your zodiac, you are welcome to leave a comment. So yeah, I think it would be cool if you guys also left a comment about what you would want the ability of your zodiac orb to be and what you think the effects of the zodiac orbs and saint orbs in the book will be. Ling Chen, he did not answer Qiu. Ling Chen is not an idiot. from Qiu's slightly peculiar expression along with what Tao Tai said before, he vaguely detected something that made him faintly puzzled and uneasy. But what these things are he had no way of finding and clarifying them. If he can collect all of the Saint Orbs and God Orbs he will become invincible, even the Moon God clan would be nothing in his eyes. This kind of future and achievement is certainly what any being yearns for. But, this kind of thing occurring in a virtual game world is a little too absurd. Would this kind of situation really be allowed to appear in the Mystic Moon game settings? In the same respect, Lunar Scourge and things like the Gemini Orb are without a doubt equipment and orbs that completely break the balance of the game. Their existence is already slightly unusual. Also, that deeply hidden unusualness is Tao Tai's voice and eye expression. Exactly what is it? He lifted his left hand and looked at Lunar Scourge that now has the Gemini Orb, checking out the newly unlocked skill. Moon Shadow, Lunar Scourge's exclusive lunar skill. When cast it will release silver moonlight illuminating the target's shadow, forcibly freezing all shadows under the moonlight, suppressing all movement of the shadow and its owner. Effect: all targets in a X meter radius will be forcibly stunned, X equals current level, for 5 seconds. MP consumption, 0, cooldown time, 60 seconds. Using the reflection of the moonlight, and then through fixating the shadow suppressing all of the target's movements. This is actually an extremely peculiar stun skill. The stun time lasts for 5 seconds, it's also an AoE stun skill that's area increases with level. At the same time, this kind of method that achieves the goal of stunning through freezing the target's shadow is absolute, it does not add an abnormal status. And so this kind of stun condition can even work on super bosses that are completely immune to all abnormal statuses. A forced stun for 5 seconds, what is the meaning of this? Against players of the same power level, 5 seconds is enough to defeat the opponent while they are completely defenseless. Against opponents stronger than himself, 5 seconds is enough to reverse the situation. Against opponents that cannot be competed with, 5 seconds can give himself an abundant amount of time to run away. Moon Shadow's effect is definitely not as simple as stunning. Ling Chen very clearly understands how powerful this skill actually is. Lunar Scourge not only can equip 15 energy orbs, it even adds such a powerful skill, and from the looks of it there appears to be more than one. This kind of cheat item, no wonder it would bring about Heaven's jealousy and Heaven's wrath. Very good. Making the Gemini Orb return to Lunar Scourge has always been my greatest desire for these 10,000 years. Because the arrival of this moment means that Lunar Scourge is about resurface in the world. Human, even though you surely possess a spirit that can be considered terrifying, but your power, your strength is truly too weak. Even with the Gemini Orb you cannot defeat even the weakest martial artists on Forgotten Continent. What you need to do is hide the Lunar Scourge on your body, and then increase your strength and find the rest of the God Orbs and Saint Orbs. And among this, there is also an even more important affair. That is to not allow the Moon God clan to discover any traces of the appearance of Lunar Scourge, or else you will definitely be destroyed and Lunar Scourge will once again suffer disaster. You must remember my words. A portion of Lunar Scourge's strength originates from the strength and soul of my ancestor. I will not allow it to be destroyed, absolutely not. Tao Tai's deep voice made Ling Chen lift his head. He thought for a bit and then slightly nodded his head. Speaking of it, does this count as God-level hidden quest? Why is this kind of feeling not like a game world that seeks balance, but instead like being in a movie with a strange setting? How come after entering the Mystic Moon world, a lot of things that I've encountered are so different from the virtual game worlds that I know of? Qiu glanced at Ling Chen, taking in the confusion in his eyes. In the depths of her eyes, a strange color flashed across for a fleeting moment. The path towards collecting the other God Orbs and Saint Orbs will definitely be very difficult. It could take 100 years, 1,000 years, or even a more distant time. But in possessing Lunar Scourge you need to fulfill this duty that must be carried. Because with every day that passes, there is an increased danger of being discovered by the Moon God clan. If when you are discovered you have still yet to find all of the God orbs and Saint orbs, then, your fate will only be death. I believe that you who possess such a gaze and is able to conquer Lunar Scourge, will not willingly be killed by any person. And all of this, I am unable to help you with. If I follow you after walking out of here, it will only increase the chances of Lunar Scourge being discovered. Not only that, after you leave here I will stay here for at least another 100 years. The Moon God clan knows my feelings towards Lunar Scourge. If I leave they will definitely find out and then find Lunar Scourge's location through me. Big guy, before I thought that your appearance was a little scary, but now I suddenly feel that you're actually pretty cute. Qiu lifted her lips smiling. Tao Tai's deep voice came from all directions. Every person has their own beliefs and persistence, beasts are the same. The reason I am willing to do such for Lunar Scourge, little girl, the most important reason, even you do not know. Oh? Qiu blinked her eyes, her face revealing puzzlement. Tao Tai did not speak with her again, his mind focused on Ling Chen. Under his two armpits two massive eyes simultaneously flickered an instant of black-green light. At the same time, Ling Chen's body also flickered for an instant a same black-green glow. Ling Chen looked at his own body puzzled, but did not have any strange feelings for changes. Human, on your body I have imprinted a very faint spiritual mark. This spiritual mark will not be discovered by the gods of the Moon God clan. Its effect is to allow me to sense when you encounter a hopeless situation in which there is absolutely no hope. Under that kind of unavoidable circumstance, I will appear. This is the last thing that I can do to help you. Of course, I hope that this kind of circumstance never appears. And before this, I have something that requires your aid. My help? Ling Chen paused. With his current ability, what could he do to help this powerful mysterious god beast? Under his gaze, Tao Tai's mouth gradually opened. The instant that massive mouth opened, a creepy feeling crawled up in his heart. What a terrifying mouth that is. Even though when opened it is only the size of a house, the feeling that it gives him is one where it can easily swallow an entire mountain. Two neat rows of teeth even sharper than knives made from steel reflected a cold light that made people's hearts shiver. Hugh. In a gust of sharp air a dark gray item flew out from his mouth, heading straight towards Ling Chen. After it was about to land on the ground, its speed abruptly lowered and then gently floated downwards as if being held in a bubble, landing in front of Ling Chen. This is a gray, oval-shaped item, about the size of a football/soccer ball. At first glance it actually seems like an egg. Opening such a big mouth and just spewing out this little thing. Aren't you embarrassed? Qiyu's amorous eyes slightly narrowed, watching this gray sphere. Hey big guy, what is this? Could it be your— No, it is not my descendant. This was entrusted to me after that miserable war by a great beast before it died. It seems to be its child, but also seems like it's not. Because even though it has its aura, its descendant's unhatched status is not like this. Before handing it over to me, it told me to not ask about its origin, especially not allowing me to tell anyone who it came from. Its last wish is that it can successfully hatch and then peacefully live the rest of its life, not bearing any more responsibilities and duties. Time has already passed an unknown number of years and it has finally reached the edge of hatching. Tao Tai slowly explained. You mean? Very simple, even though the great beast that entrusted it to me wished that it could live a peaceful life, its origin and ability have determined that its life cannot be peaceful. This is an unchangeable fate. If I continue to keep it, that will only slowly wear away its talent. Take it with you, and then find a non-elemental energy orb and give it to it. It only needs that last bit of power and it will be able to successfully hatch. Even though I do not know what his hatched status will be like, but after being born, even if it's at the infant stage, it will still provide you with strong assistance. This assistance is not powerful attack ability. Where its strength lies, you will naturally know once it hatches. Maybe, it will surpass my expectations. Ling Chen now completely understood that what this Tao Tai handed over to him is shockingly an egg that can give birth to a powerful beast. From a player's perspective, this is a pet egg. Although, the premise is that it can hatch. And the last condition for it to hatch is that it requires a non-elemental energy orb. An energy orb, not a crystal. With respect to players, especially at the early stage, this condition is truly harsh to the max. Right now Ling Chen does have a non-elemental orb, the Gemini orb, but even if he had a problem with his brain he would not use it to hatch the unknown pet egg. I will hatch it out as soon as possible, Ling Chen said. After some slight contemplation he lifts his head and asks, Tao Tai, can I ask you a few questions? No. Ling Chen has too many questions that he wants to ask Tao Tai, but Tao Tai bluntly refused his request. He said with a heavy voice, do not ask me any questions, you who does not know anything is lucky. If you know too many unnecessary things, then your body, your mood, and your mind will all bear some heavy shackles. So, some things, it's better if you don't know too early. If you really want to know, then find and discover them yourself in the process of looking for the God orbs and Saint orbs. I know what you want to know, but even if I know the answer I will not tell you. Ling Chen, yo. Qiu pursed her lips in discontent, saying with a beautiful smile, you big guy, you're really not cute. Entrusting such an important thing to my little master, and yet not even allowing him to ask a few simple questions. How hurt will this make my little master feel? Shouldn't you compensate my little master with a little something? Just a simple demeanor and yet it is so exceedingly coquettish, a casual voice and yet so extremely sweet, making Ling Chen beside her feel for an instant that all the strength had left his body. Tao Tai was silent for a short while before opening his mouth and saying, okay, I Tao Tai never wish to be indebted to others, not to mention right now your ability is too weak. Raising up a bit your ability isn't a bad option either. Then, you have accepted my entrustment, you can propose one of your conditions, but this condition cannot include asking me some questions that you want to know the answer to, and is only limited to increasing your ability. I can increase your level or stats, and can also give you an amazing piece of equipment, I can also bestow upon you powerful skills. You, choose yourself. Giving away a pet egg of extraordinary origin for free, and even giving a bonus of being able to propose a condition. Is this a big pile of pies falling from the sky? TL, glossary, virtually without even thinking about it, Ling Chen responded, skills. Hehe, very good, I admire your answer. Level and stats can be brought up on your own, high-grade equipment can be obtained on your own. Only skills. That is what will always accompany you and will give you a lifetime of benefits. Then, do you need passive or active skills? Passive. Ling Chen still responded without any hesitation. Very good. After the sound of his voice ended, within Tao Tai's two eyes 2 dots of black light suddenly flickered. After lasting for a couple seconds the light suddenly shot outwards heading straight for Ling Chen, ramming into his body. Ling Chen's body slightly tilted backwards, his body already being enveloped by a mass of black light, and then gradually seeping into his body. Once the light completely sunk into his body, a system notification rose up beside his ears. Ding! You have gained unique skills, Heaven Wind Technique, Item Manipulation Technique. Heaven Wind Technique, current level, LV1, highest level, LV10. SP to upgrade to LV2, 400. Ancient Battle Technique, after practice it can greatly increase the ability to control any weapon. Effect, when using any weapon, damage dealt is increased by 5%. Effect does not stack with other weapon proficiency skills. Item Manipulation Technique, current level, LV1, highest level, LV10. SP to upgrade to LV2, 400. Ancient battle technique, after practice equipment that surpasses your current level can be equipped. Effect, ignores any piece of equipment's level requirement by one level. Such powerful skills. Ling Chen almost yelled out in shock. After all apprentice professions switch to their official professions, they will all have proficiency passive skills for their respective weapons, like sword proficiency, spear proficiency, etc. These passive skills will increase the attack ability and hit rate when using the respective weapon. When gaining the Gemini orb, Ling Chen even once thought with a spear and a sword and maybe other weapons, doesn't that mean that when he changes profession that he'll need to learn 2, or maybe even more weapon proficiency skills? That would unquestionably waste a large amount of SP. But this, Heaven Wind technique, gifted by Cao Tai, is able to directly increase the damage dealt for all weapons. Furthermore, it already increases 5% higher at just LV1. Heaven Wind technique's max level is LV10, wonder how strong the effect will be when it reaches max level. But this skill is not without flaw. It does not increase hit rate and cannot stack with other weapon proficiency skills. Item Manipulation Technique is a passive skill special to the point that nobody is able to be not surprised. With this skill, Ling Chen is able to equip LV10 equipment right now. Regardless if it's Soaring Cloud or Sand Blade, he can equip them all. This skill's highest level is LV10. At LV1 it can ignore the equipment level requirement by one level. Then, if this skill gets maxed, it can ignore at least 10 levels. At that time, he will be able to directly equip equipment of which the level requirement is 10 levels higher than his own. This effect is practically outrageous. Of course, the pretense is that their levels reach a high level. And reaching a high level requires a large amount of SP. Upgrading to LV2 require 400 A/N. Lunar Scourge has something to say. The initial amount is 200 SP each. Upgrading to max level, without even needing to think, you know that it is an astronomical number. The stronger the skill, the more difficult it is to upgrade. How is it? Are you satisfied with these two skills? Cao Tai's voice sounded beside his ears. Very satisfied. Ling Chen nods his head, saying, honestly speaking, regardless if its number or quality, the skills that Cao Tai gave him all surpassed his expectations. These truly are skills gifted by a mysterious god beast. Even though they cannot immediately provide you with strong assistance right now, their effects will always accompany you, allowing you to benefit from them for the rest of your life. Especially Heaven Wind technique, it originates from a person that even the heavens and earth once feared. Maybe one day, you will attain, or even surpass his level. Then, remember everything that I've said, collect all of Lunar Scourge's exclusive God Orbs and Saint Orbs within the shortest amount of time. At the same time, do not forget to hatch the life that I've entrusted to you. You especially need to remember, do not let the Moon God clan discover that Lunar Scourge has resurfaced. Ling Chen nods his head, looking up and glancing at the surrounding stone wall. Ever since falling into this place, everything that he's encountered has honestly been like a dream. Everything that I should have said I've already told you. What I can give you has also already been given. This underground space is very empty, besides what you've seen there is already nothing else. Right now, I will send you to the upper world. I know where you come from, and that you should be a human that comes from a different world. I believe that before too long you will leave this land and head towards Forgotten Continent, and there is the true beginning. Good luck, human that has conquered Lunar Scourge. While Cao Tai was speaking, a mass of black-green light had already enveloped Ling Chen's body. That is the light of activating spatial transport. So eager to send us away? You're still so heartless, you big guy. Qiu said laughingly. Qiu's eyes narrowed, smiling faintly. Big guy, I don't need you to worry about my affairs. Then, I guess we're leaving. If there's a chance in the future, maybe we'll come to visit you. It is easy to leave this land, but almost impossible to come in. This point you should understand better than anyone else. You have intelligence that surpasses any life form, and an appearance that can enchant the entire world. Maybe I really don't need to worry about you. Go you guys, I hope that in my lifetime I will be able to once more witness lunar scourge overlooking the entire world. At this moment the green-black colored light reached an extreme intensity, and then completely vanished with a flicker. Ling Chen's body also disappeared from here. Following his and lunar scourge's departure, Qiu's body also gradually dimmed, until she completely disappeared. Spatial transfer. When the green light faded, the scenery in front of Ling Chen instantly lit up. Staying in the dark underground space for so long, the abundant light and fresh air here made Ling Chen shut his eyes in comfort, and then quietly let out a sigh of relief. Falling down Wolf's Cliff, not dying under the effect of the sapphire necklace, afterwards desperately fighting the greedy avarice toad, winning after countless shaves with death, and gaining big booty. And then encountering Tao Tai, encountering lunar scourge and conquering it. And so, he gained an item suffering from heaven's punishment that makes even gods afraid, he gained an energy orb with a very powerful ability, he gained a pet egg of extraordinary origin, and he gained 2 powerful passive skills. Suddenly, everything felt so unreal, like a dream. Are these really scenes that should be appearing in a virtual game world? The end, for today. Young master, I didn't know you missed me so much. We just got out, and you already immediately called for me. You're going to make my heart throb. She smiled sweetly at Ling Chen's brief state of trance, while her glistening almond-shaped eyes carried a warm light. She leaped into his arms, displaying all her bewitching allure. Ling Chen used the uttermost willpower he could gather to force his eyes off her. He had already strengthened his mind before he called Qiu out, but still no matter how many precautions he took, he could not win against her. Taking a long deep breath, he had to admit this woman's seductive allure is the most deadly weapon against all men in this world. Even the oldest of men would have their lust rekindle like a burning flame in front of her. So how could he, a young man in his prime, ever hope to resist her charm? Tell me, what was the destiny that Tao Tai said was already planned for me? He said with a stern voice as he tilted his head toward her. Tao Tai's words had clearly planted seeds of doubt within himself, and all this time he was trying to figure out what those words really meant. Your destiny, that's to become the enemy of the Moon God clan, of course. Don't tell me that young master is afraid? Qiu giggled as her almond eyes began to narrow. Ling Chen lifted his eyebrows and shook his head. What I want to hear is the truth. My instinct tells me that his words were definitely not that simple. Simple. Qiu said as she opened her petal-like lips, shock flashing across her sultry face. The Moon God clan is this world's strongest clan, even this very world was named after the Moon God clan. They are the ones that are in control of everything in this world. To be their enemy means the same as to be against the heavens. How could that be called simple? If so, then what does the young master consider to be not simple? Ling Chen had no word to reply. Even the chief of the Novice village had told him before that the Moon God clan was the strongest clan in the world of Shenyu. Every plot of land within the world of Shenyun was under the control of the Moon God clan. And every human knew that even the lowest of the Moon God clan was still high above them, sacred and inviolable. To be the enemy of the Moon God clan was equivalent of challenging the mystic Moon world's strongest force. There is nothing in the world that more difficult, more foolish, and more unimaginable than to challenge them. This was absolutely not a simple destiny. But why do I feel uncertain about this? Why do I worry that it not this straightforward? There is still more about Lunar Scourge that they did not tell me. Alright, I will believe you for now. Then, can you tell me your background? You say that you are not really a simple item spirit and that there are special reasons to why you have been sealed within the Lunar Scourge. Then, can you tell me your real identity? I do not want to keep someone who I know nothing about around me. Ling stated with a harsh look in his eyes. Tao Tai said that Lunar Scourge waited in that underground space for 10,000 years, and this woman has always been with it. then that means this woman had been alive for at least 10,000 years. I have already told you before that this is my secret. Since you call me master, then you should follow my orders. Ling Chen said as he wrinkled his forehead. He knew that underneath this woman's beautiful appearance was something very dangerous. He very clearly remembers that one message Tao Tai told Qiyu, "You hold a mind that surpasses all and beauty that bewitches this whole world." Tee-hee-hee. Qiyu laughed as she covered her mouth after hearing Ling Chen's words. She laughed like many flowers blooming as her large, snow-white buxom bounced along with her laughter, causing her enticing allure to spread again. Her voluptuous body along with her thin, slender waist created sensuous curves. "Young master, you really are too cute, so adorable that I just want to hug you right now." Tee-hee-hee-hee. Ling Chen. #UN%, carrying a soft, sweet fragrance, Qiyu enchantingly smiled while walking to his side. Strutting all the sensuous curves of her body, she pointed towards his chest with an unblemished, thin, jade-like finger. Then slowly moving up, she slided her thin finger under his chin and pushed his face towards her with a teasing smile. "Young master, you are right, you are my master, no matter what you choose to do with me, I will not resist. So let me take tender care of you. I will be sure to let you feel more than just comfortable. I will send you to heaven and hell, after all this is my duty, right?" With his face turned, all that was in Ling Chen's sight was Qiyu's irresistible beauty. Her snow-white skin and seductive looks was one that would be peerless for centuries. As she carefully lifted her buxom, a pair of full and round jade-white breasts shocked him. Hers were much greater than the average, however they did not droop at all, they perked up high, almost ripping the seams of her clothes. Ling Chen felt his heart pulsate uncontrollably and his body instantly blazed to the point in which all his blood seemed to begin boiling. This was the first time in his whole life that the flame of his lust has ignited to such a pinnacle. This lust was enough to burn away restraint in any man, and it was in such an uncontrollable moment that Ling Chen had the desire to push her onto the floor, tear away all her clothes, and unleash this lustful flame onto her. Using one strong hand to push Qiyu away, Ling Chen stepped back and turned around. "Return to Lunar Scourge at once." Immediately, he shouted in a cold voice. Surprise flickered in Qiyu's eyes, but still she smiled lightly and softly said, "Of course I will follow little master's orders. Then I will first go back to rest, but be sure to call whenever you remember me." Qiyu's sensuous body and captivating voice started to slowly disappear, till it was all gone. And Ling Chen just stood there for a very long time, until his heart finally calmed down and he could finally breathe a long, deep breath. To be seduced by such a woman, surely is something that all men in this world would dream of. He believed that there are no normal men that could resist against her allure. Even he had almost lost all sense. Before he had met Shui Rua, he had touched many women, to the point in which he had already lost count. Sometimes it was for the sake of making his assassinations easier, sometimes it was just to release anger. But after meeting Shui Rua, he had not touched a single woman. He did not want to do anything that would betray her. No matter how hard it was over the years, only he knew. The afternoon was coming, and Ling Chen took out his backpack and grabbed all the level 10 equipment he had gotten from the Forgotten Cave. Silver helmet, white silver bracers, sand blade. Ling Chen equipped all of these items onto himself. Even if he was still level 9, he had the item control technique which allowed him to successfully equip these items. Then he took out the Heartless Orb and easily attached it to the first hole on Lunar Scourge. Opening the menu option, Ling Chen begins to look at his status. Character, Ling Tian level, 9, class, Apprentice Warrior, faction, None Fame, 3035, money, 1782 gold, 0 silver, 0 copper, SP 500 basic attributes, strength, 85, constitution, 15, agility, 29, spirit, 5 innate attributes, luck, 5, comprehension, 5 HP, 360 MP, 140 physical attack strength, 281 magic attack strength, 10 physical defense, 68 hit rate, 37, dodge rate, 29 critical hit rate, 22%, pierce rate, 8%, TL, ignore defense. Attack speed, 100%, movement speed, 100% elemental resistance, water, 3%, fire, 0%, wind, 0%, lightning, 0%, earth, 6%, light, 0%, darkness, 0% skills, personal skills, scan, current level, LV1, cannot be upgraded. An ability for all classes, MP consumption, 1. Examine the basic stats of creatures no higher than yourself by 10 levels. Soul Sacrifice, current level, LV2, highest level LV4, SP to upgrade to LV3, 10,000, an impasse skill that uses your life and soul as an offering in exchange for the most extreme attack strength. Only people with a strong mind and conviction can unlock and trigger it. After activating HP equals 1, physical attack strength plus 200%, magic attack strength plus 200%, the use any skill has no consumption, including HP and MP consumption, duration, 15 seconds, and cannot be stopped while in use, cannot use any method of HP recovery. Cooldown time, 300 seconds. Heaven Wind Technique, current level, LV1, highest level, LV10. SP to upgrade to LV2, 400. Ancient Battle Technique, after practice it can greatly increase the ability to control any weapon. Effect, when using any weapon, damage dealt is increased by 5%. Effect does not stack with other weapon proficiency skills. Item Manipulation Technique, current level, LV1, highest level, LV10. SP to upgrade to LV2, 400. Ancient Battle Technique, after practice equipment that surpasses your current level can be equipped. Effect, ignores any piece of equipment's level requirement by 1 level. Class Skills, Apprentice Warrior, Full Power Strike, current level, LV5, highest level, LV5. Reached max level. Beginner skill for Apprentice Warriors, using the weapon in the hand to strike at the target in front with all your strength, 150% damage, 2% chance of dazing the target for 23 seconds, MP consumption, 5, cooldown time, 0 seconds, crescent slash, current level, LV5, reached max level. Beginner skill for Apprentice Warriors, with their weapons and cross-cutting ahead, drawing a small sword arc, dealing 120% regular damage towards 5 targets in a 4-meter forward area, also has a 20% chance to knock back the target. MP consumption, 7, cooldown time, 0 seconds, Fire of Rage, current level, LV5, max level reached, advanced trainee skill for Apprentice Warriors, will only unlock when all beginner trainee skills reach max level. After activating higher attack strength is gained from the burning of life force and sacrificing defense. Effect, HP 50, defense 50, physical attack strength plus 50, duration, 30 seconds, MP consumption, 20, cooldown time, 1 minute, equipment skills, shooting soaring cloud, throw out soaring cloud with all your strength, the flying soaring cloud will pierce through all enemies in a straight line in front like a shooting star. It also has a certain chance of causing fatal damage. Soaring cloud that has been thrown out will not automatically return. Effect, piercing attack in a straight line forward in a 15-meter radius, compulsory hit, 300% attack damage, 1% chance of triggering instant death. HP 50, MP 50, cooldown time, 100 seconds. Moon Shadow, Lunar Scourge's exclusive lunar skill. When cast it will release silver moonlight illuminating the target's shadow, forcibly freezing all shadows under the moonlight, suppressing all movement of the shadow and its owner. Effect, all targets in a X meter radius will be forcibly stunned, X equals current level, 4-5 seconds. MP consumption, 0, cooldown time, 60 seconds. Equipment, weapon, right hand, soaring cloud, spear, left hand, sand blade, two-handed sword, Luna Chain, Lunar Scourge, Gemini Orb, Heartless Orb, Helmet, Silver Helmet Mask, Nun Necklace, Nun Earring, Nun Ring, Nimble Ring, TL, is that what I called it? Nun Insignia, Nun Upper Garment, Beastskin Armor Belt, Nun Lower Garment, Beastskin Trousers Handguard, Silver Bracers Boots, Wolfskin Shoes. Ling Chen couldn't help but to feel excitement as he looked at his current status. Now he had 1 fairy item, 1 gold item, and 2 silver grade equips. This set of equipment was what normal users could never hope to have. He had the ability to dual wield with 2-handed weapons in both his right and left hand, and when he stacked his weapons he could achieve an attack value of 281. And if he added Fire of Rage, he could even break 300. Such high attack strength was something that even warrior players with the highest physical attack might not be able to reach at LV20. Don't mention players of other professions. Returning to the novice village, Ling Chen headed straight for the item store. "Hello Boss Wang, do you have masks here?" Ling Chen frankly asked as he walked into the item store. Towards Wang Jia, Ling Chen was slightly grateful. If not for the sapphire necklace and those special potions that he gave, he could not have survived after falling down the cliff, and especially could not have defeated the greedy giant toad, which would not have yielded in the later gains. "Oh, it is you, young hero. It seems that it's already been a decent amount of days that I haven't seen you." After seeing him, the initially listless Wang Ji immediately became enthusiastic. "I do have masks, but they do not need to be bought. I know that a lot of you heroes from another world have to take into consideration your own privacy and don't want to show people your real faces. So if there is a need, you can directly receive a free mask from me. Here, for you." Finishing speaking, Wang Ji handed a mask made of iron over to Ling Chen. This kind of mask can be found all over the place in the novice village. The reality is exactly as Wang Ji says, in the game a lot of people like to wear masks, not wanting others to see their true appearance. Ling Chen is also one of these people. Ling Chen wore the iron mask on his face, it just perfectly covered his entire face. Even though it is made of iron, it is very thin and light. There is no uncomfortable feeling or sense of weight while wearing it. He was just about to leave when he heard Wang Ji continuing to say, "Speaking of masks, it is not a type of official equipment, its only usage is to use it to cover your face. But a few years ago I heard from the village chief that there are still masks with attributes that exist on Forgotten Continent. The existence of such masks are very rare, each one is a priceless artifact. At the very least in my lifetime I have not had the fortune of seeing that kind of legendary mask. Masks with attributes. If a person can obtain one, doesn't that mean that they will have an extra piece of battle equipment over the rest of the players?" Walking out of the item store, Ling Chen headed straight for the northern area of the novice village. Right now what he needs the most is to rise up to LV10, and then leave the novice village and head towards the capital city of Forgotten Continent. That is the true place for a new beginning. Currently he is LV9, jumping up to LV9 from LV5 under the massive amount of EXP given by a fairy boss. He is certain that his current level should be the highest one in the entire China Warzone at the moment, even though right now his leveling difficulty is 2 times the rest of the players. But he believes that he will still be the first person to reach LV10. At the most northern area of the novice village is the territory of the highest level creatures in the novice village, the LV10 brown bear. An hour later Ling Chen had already reached the edge of the brown bear territory. As he expected, right now the figures of other players can still not be seen here. The average levels of players right now should be around 7 to 8, they will not come here yet. Finding the location, Ling Chen directly went offline. Of course he wouldn't forget to take care of his Shui Ruo. When he came online again it was already 2 p.m. "Lord, it's a Lord boss. Quick! Immediately call everyone over. Get as many people as possible, come as fast as they can." "Black Flames people? Humph. What do you guys mean? We clearly discovered it first, do you guys want to steal it? You guys discovered it? Then why don't you guys go exterminate it? Does this lord have your names on its body? You. Just coming online, the sound of arguing traveled into Ling Chen's ears. After listening to a couple lines, he already had a general idea of what was happening. He looked towards the source of the voices. Two sets of player groups were right in the middle of confronting each other there. One side had around 30 players and was led by an archer raising an iron bow. The other side only had a dozen or so players. The leader is a person raising an iron shield. Their location is at the edge of the brown bear territory, and within the brown bear territory there is huge brown bear lazily sleeping, its entire body surrounded by a mass of gold light. Gold War Bear, type, beast, level, LV10, grade, Lord Boss, HP, 8000. LV10 Lord Boss, Gold War Bear. Initially, the territory of the LV10 Brown Bears is not a place that the current players would enter. Presumably it is the group of that shield guard that haphazardly walked past here and just happened to discover that a Lord Boss had spawned here. After that, the group of that archer also came here. The chances of spawning a Lord Boss are very low, yet its allure is incredibly huge. No matter at which novice village, the appearance of a Lord Boss will always cause a relatively big commotion. Because a Lord Boss represents the highest grade equipment, and large amounts of EXP and SP for the novice stage. And so actually spotting a newly spawned Lord Boss here made the heartbeats of the two groups quicken in excitement. But, how is a LV10 Lord Boss something that they can deal with? What they all did is go and call more of their companions at the first moment. The shield guard carrying an iron shield had an overcast face, staring at the archer and saying coldly, "Black Flame, we have always kept to ourselves and not interfered with each other. The boss belongs to whoever discovers it, this is a rule that everyone knows, are you guys provoking us? The Battle Alliance. The boss belongs to whoever discovers it first." Hee, what a joke. A couple days ago, that gold battle wolf was discovered by us Black Flame first, and amongst those people that came to steal it, do you dare to say that there were not people from your Battle Alliance there? Don't think that we will be afraid of you guys just because you guys are friendly with the Yan Huang Alliance, us Black Flame have never been afraid of anybody. The archer said with a dark face. Ling Chen, who was standing far away, suddenly lifted his head, his two eyes fixing upon that talking archer, his gaze landing upon that name above his head. Black Flame Bao. It is the leader of that group that forced him down the cliff that day at Wolf's Cliff. Ling Chen's gaze instantly became ice cold. What a big mouth. Even a little chief of the Black Flame Alliance is able to be so arrogant to such a degree. Black Flame really is becoming more and more better. A cold, indifferent voice traveled from far to close. People followed the source of the voice and looked over. A man with a mediocre face, a large body frame and equipped overly plainly slowly walked over here. His entire body did not have any point that was worth making people pause their gaze, only that pair of eyes, as sharp as an eagle soaring in the skies. Alliance Chief. You're here. Seeing him appear, the shield guard immediately became overjoyed, quickly going up to greet him. Initially seeing this big man, Black Flame Bao's face revealed a deep color of puzzlement. He was certain that he seemed to have seen this man somewhere before. Hearing how the shield guard addressed him, his face suddenly turned. You are Xiao Qiufeng. The heaven ranking and the earth ranking, any player that has been in a virtual game world knows about the existence of these two rankings. What they record is the list of the most apex players in the China virtual game world. The heaven ranking has 10 positions. Players that are listed within are the 10 strongest people publicly recognized by all of China's players. Listed within the earth ranking are the 20 strongest players excluding the heaven ranking. The heaven ranking and the earth ranking are the most authoritative, even the most sacred lists in the China virtual game world. The names of each person listed are able to shake all of China. Being able to be among the top 30 amongst the hundreds of millions of players in China, you can imagine just how strong they are. Each of them not only possesses powerful strength, they also have amazing charisma, and are the heavy targets of guilds to rope in. If a guild is able to have a heaven ranking or earth ranking master, even a small, unknown guild would become famous overnight. Even if it's those forces that already have immense power, they would definitely become a leader among the group. Especially the heaven ranking, every person on the list is a mythical figure in the eyes of the rest of the players, they are godlike existences in the eyes of the players. If any of them appear, it would cause a great stir. And this man that looks incredibly ordinary, he is one of the apex players listed in the heaven ranking. At the same time, he is the highest leader of the Battle Alliance. The China region has a total of 100,000 novice villages, there are a total of 10 people on the heaven ranking. The chances of meeting a heaven ranking master in a novice village could be said to not be smaller. Black Flame Bao could never have thought that in this novice village, he would actually meet the number 7, Cold Magistrate, on the heaven ranking. When he called out the name, Xiao Qiufeng, his feet also took a step back in a shiver. They have 30 people on their side, while the other side adding Xiao Qiufeng only has 13 people. But, Xiao Qiufeng, this name holds too much shock and threat, this kind of difference in numbers is unable to bring him any sense of safety, in his heart there was only a trembling that could not be suppressed. It's not that he's a coward. There is not a player that would be so stupid as to be enemies with those freaks on the heaven ranking. Anyone that has heard of Xiao Qiufeng's name knew that if he is unable to drive away the people, then the next second, he will kill them. Black Flame Bao is a chief of the Black Flame Alliance, he also leads a large group of Black Flame Alliance's players. Usually he is also a very prestigious figure, but when has he ever been looked down upon by anybody before? Even though he is afraid of Xiao Qiufeng, he is also holding back a fire of rage in his heart. He took a glance at the people behind him and bit his teeth. He knew that challenging Xiao Qiufeng is a very irrational act, going against him, in the future, he knows that he will not have a good time in Mystic Moon. But if today he tucks his tail between his legs and runs away, he will bring shame to the entire Black Flame Alliance. If the news travels through the Black Flame Alliance, he will become a joke, Alliance Chief will also become furious. He knows that he cannot displease Xiao Qiufeng, and at this time he also cannot retreat. A layer of cold sweat appeared over his forehead, the muscles on his face trembled for a good while before he set his heart and stepped forward saying, the Cold Magistrate arriving himself, of course we have to give face. Our leader has said many times that if we meet the Cold Magistrate that we must treat you with respect. Okay, we will not meddle with this Lord Boss today. We will just stand here and witness the Cold Magistrate's might, seeing how an expert from the heaven ranking deals with this Lord Boss. Xiao Qiufeng's expression immediately darkened with the leading shield guard of the Battle Alliance also revealing a face of anger. Even though on the surface it looks like Black Flame Bao is backing down, and even making a concession of absolutely not interfering and stealing the gold battle bear, it seems that at the same time he has also laid a trap. Xiao Qiufeng may be on the heaven ranking and is an established apex master, but Mystic Moon has only opened for a couple of days. All players are still at the novice stage. At this stage, the levels, stats and equipment of players simply cannot be pulled apart. Even the strongest players will not have too great of an advantage. These ultimate experts may have an extremely strong combat awareness and incredibly outstanding maneuverability and control, but even at the novice stage they are only able to easily solo one or multiple players, but against dozens of players, they will find it incredibly difficult to deal with them. Gold War Bear is a LV-10 Lord Boss. A Lord Boss of this level requires at least over 100 LV-7-8 players for there to be a chance of winning. Even if Xiao Qiufeng is here, the people of the Battle Alliance here definitely do not have the ability to kill the Gold War Bear. Don't even think about the Gold War Bear. Even with the 30 people of the Black Flame Alliance, them adding Xiao Qiufeng to the fight still do not have the ability to win against it. Even though Black Flame Bao wants to retreat, he put out the attitude of watching a play. If the Battle Alliance, including Qiufeng, go to battle against the Gold War Bear, there is a 100% chance of suicide. There will not be any fluke or suspense in this. If they don't fight the Gold War Bear, that instead will shows their cowardness and dirty Qiufeng's name. Black Flame Bao, looks like you feel that you're living too comfortably. The leading shield guard of the Battle Alliance said with a gloomy face. Hee, what do you mean? We've already given a lot of ground in respect for the cold magistrate and given this Lord Boss to you guys. Do you guys need to be so aggressive? Is it that being rude and unreasonable is the way of the Battle Alliance? Since he's already opposing them, Black Flame Bao also pulled down his face and started to speak increasingly rudely. The Gold War Bear is right there, we will stand right here and enjoy the mighty figures of you, the Battle Alliance, exterminating that Lord Boss. Incidentally, I can also help you guys record the battle to allow other players to enjoy it. You guys have a peerless master number 7 on the heaven ranking. Don't tell me that the almighty cold magistrate is unable to deal with even a small LV-10 Lord Boss. A Lord Boss usually needed around tens of players, even over 100 of the same level working together to destroy it. Those apex players on the heaven ranking all possess the strength to solo Lord Bosses 10 levels higher than their own. But the premise is that their level, stats, equipment, professions and skills all mature. They all understand that the Qiufeng right now is unable to beat this Lord Boss. They also don't believe that there is currently a player that can solo a LV-10 Lord Boss. If you have to say that such a person exists, then that person can only be the sole SSS rank expert in the world, Eve. Very good. Qiufeng's expression was still indifferent. From his face you can never see any obvious emotional fluctuations. He turned his gaze, focusing on Black Flame Bao's face and slowly said, I will remember what happened today. Black Flame Bao's body shook, a deep chill rose up in his heart. Behind him were the members of Black Flame, so he knew he could not lose face here. Even though he has taken a step back, in the end he still has offended Qiufeng. Both sides suddenly entered a stalemate. Black Flame Alliance's people did not retreat, but frightened by Qiufeng's reputation they did not dare to continue saying anything. The players of the Battle Alliance all had a gloomy face, but they also understood that with the difference in numbers, if they fought they would not have any advantage. To fight for a boss or for territory, there are always countless big and small conflicts between different groups, but this time was different. Because who the Black Flame Alliance is facing today, is the leader of the Battle Alliance, the number 7 cold magistrate on the heaven ranking. This seemingly small conflict was bound to influence the entire Battle Alliance and Black Flame Alliance. And this silence was broken by an outsider. Ling Chen. He finished listening to that laughable verbal confrontation between the two groups like listening to a monkey show, and then quietly walked over. The two groups engaged in verbal battle for half a day but did not start to fight each other, and none of the two groups went up to kill the Gold War Bear. Because they simply didn't have the ability to kill the Gold War Bear. Even if they fought to the death they would not even be able to touch a hair of the Gold War Bear. Because right now, that is his prey. Before Ling Chen was standing behind a stone and did not release any sound so the two groups of people did not discover him. Right now suddenly seeing an outsider approaching, they all looked towards him at the same time and then felt their hearts sink. They are all guarding this place waiting for players from their alliance to arrive. If the information of the appearance of this Lord Boss is seen by other players and spread out, then before too long this place will be packed with a countless amount of players. At that time it will be incredibly difficult for them to take this Lord Boss for themselves. The scene created from the spreading of the information of a Lord Boss on Wolf's Cliff before was still fresh in their memories. The ownership of that gold battle wolf was eventually taken away by the Yan Huang Alliance who had the greatest power. You there. This is the territory of the Black Flame Alliance. if you don't want to become the enemy of the Black Flame Alliance, then leave immediately. Black Flame Bao turned around facing Ling Chen and bellowed coldly. The name of the Black Flame Alliance is enough to intimidate the majority of players. Not many players dare to displease this kind of large guild that is famous throughout all of China. Standing at the edge of the Brown Bear territory, Ling Chen didn't even give him a glance, his gaze stopping on the Gold War Bear for a short moment before walking forward and then heading full speed towards the sleeping Gold War Bear. This action of his made everybody stunned, and then almost all start to laugh out loud. What does he want to do? He isn't thinking of wanting to solo that Gold War Bear, right? Is this guy an idiot? Is it that his brain has fried from the excitement of seeing a Lord Boss? Could it be that this is a noob that has never seen a Lord Boss before? Even if you want to die, you don't need to be in such a rush. Seeing him charge up to the Lord Boss by himself, no one went up to stop him, instead they all revealed an expression of ridicule. With the strength of the current players, facing a Lord Boss by yourself is the same as suicide. They could practically already see the image of this person being slapped to death after waking up this Gold War Bear. But, the image that they expected did not appear. What they saw was a scene that made them dumbfounded, shocked and even tremble. Fire of rage. While running, Soaring Cloud and Sand Blade were called out by him at the same time. Being buffed with Fire of Rage that had reached max level, Ling Chen's basic attack strength immediately jumped to 331. Soul Sacrifice. A layer of dim red light appeared over his body. His HP dropped down to 1 in an instant, simultaneously an enormous power suddenly poured out from the depths of his soul. This is his first time using this berserk technique that puts himself at the edge of death. Against this LV-10 Lord Boss, he wants to deal with it as quickly as possible. Ling Chen glanced at his current attack strength. 993. An attack value that almost reached 1000, an attack value that players at the current stage wouldn't even dream of. This is currently the most peak condition that Ling Chen can attain, and is also his most dangerous state. Under this condition, his HP will at most maintain at 1, and cannot be recovered with any methods. At the same time as being buffed with Soul Sacrifice, Ling Chen had already charged in front of the Gold War Bear, Soaring Cloud and Sand Blade simultaneously using Full Power Strike and cutting towards the large body covered in a golden glow. Full Power Strike does not have any cooldown time or usage restrictions, so both weapons are able to release it at the same time. -1480, -1433. 1 attack. No, it's 2 attacks dealing damage at once, directly shaving off over 1/3 of the Gold War Bear's HP. The snoring Gold War Bear was suddenly roused from its sleep, abruptly jumping up from the ground and releasing a loud roar of anger. And at this moment Ling Chen's second attack suddenly arrived, left hand Sand Blade using Full Power Strike, right hand Soaring Cloud using Shooting Soaring Cloud. An arced yellow sword aura and a silver shooting star simultaneously crossed through the Gold War Bear's massive body, bringing up a red-colored damage and a yellow-colored critical damage so big that even Ling Chen himself was shocked. -1436. -5922. The Gold War Bear's thunderous roars abruptly ceased. It maintained its action of roaring angrily and fell down powerlessly. This powerful Lord Boss didn't even get a clear view of who its enemy was before it died. 2 attacks. The entire process only took 2 seconds. The surroundings area instantly became deathly quiet. Those players standing at the edge of the Brown Bear territory, originally waiting to watch a show, all opened their mouths wide, widening their eyes. Pairs and pairs of eyes popping out so far that they're practically about to burst out of their eye sockets. The defense of a LV-10 Lord Boss is extremely strong, even the person with the highest attack amongst them isn't guaranteed to pierce through its defense. And this person, each of his attacks were actually all 4-digit numbers. They were certain that they did not see wrong, those were indeed 4-digit damage values. Moreover, what each attack brought up were all 2 damage values. That last critical hit actually hit for almost 6,000 damage. 2 seconds, this person dealt out over 10,000 damage. In just 2 seconds, this LV-10 Lord Boss fell at his feet. The scenery that appeared within these 2 seconds made them simply unable to believe in their own eyes. This is a person wearing a silver mask, his face cannot be seen and his name is hidden. But they are certain that this person is a player and not an NPC. Wearing a body of beast-skin clothes, in his hand. His left hand and right hand were both unexpectedly holding a weapon. In the right hand is a spear flickering a silver light. That aura could very likely be a silver equipment. In his left hand is a long sword flowing with a golden glow. From its shape it should be a 2-handed sword, its aura. That is a gold equipment. Not only is he holding 2 weapons at the same time, one of them is even a gold equipment. Even in all of China there are only a handful of gold equipment right now. If they knew that the spear in Ling Chen's right hand is Soaring Cloud that is currently on the China weapon ranking list, who knows what their reactions would be. The players of the Black Flame Alliance and the Battle Alliance all looked at each other, no one could say anything. Even the expressionless Qiufeng had an expression of shock, his eyes tightly staring at Ling Chen. He cannot believe what he saw. Mystic Moon has only opened for a couple of days, how can there be a player that possesses such terrifying attack strength? He is holding 2 weapons, and they are even 2 weapons of a different kind, a spear and a long sword. It should be that they're both supposed to be held with both hands. What made him even more shocked is that attack that Ling Chen used to kill the Gold War Bear. He actually used the 2 weapons in his hands to each separately launch 2 different skills. One is Full Power Strike of Apprentice Warriors, he recognizes it. The other is an attack that he's never heard of that dealt almost 6,000 damage, but this was not the most important thing. The most important thing is that he used his 2 hands to simultaneously launch 2 different skills. And he did it so easily and casually, without pausing or awkwardness. One cannot do 2 things at the same time, this is common knowledge. There are definitely very few people in this world that can do 2 different things wholeheartedly, like drawing a circle and a square at the same time. In the virtual game world, the activation of skills requires one to use their minds to control it, at the same time launching the skill also requires the corresponding body movements. Not talking about how abnormal of a phenomenon it is to wield 2 two-handed weapons with both hands and simultaneously launching 2 skills at the same time. To achieve this, he needs to simultaneously control the activation of the 2 skills and also control the movements of his left and right limbs at the same time. And yet he is able to do this so casually. How terrifying is his mental control ability. Who is this person? If this is a person on the heaven ranking, I should be able to recognize him right away. But regardless if it's the heaven ranking or the earth ranking, they both don't seem to contain the existence of this person. That spear in his hand. That aura is a lot stronger compared to a silver equipment. Wait a sec, that spear. Could it be Soaring Cloud on the equipment ranking list? Did anyone film that? Qiufeng asked in a low voice while staring at Ling Chen. The shield guard beside him seemed to have just returned to his senses, saying with a trembling voice, No, it was so quick, how could anyone have been able to film it down? This person. Who is this person? Is he really a player? That attack. Over 5,000 damage. Am I seeing things? Qiufeng, following the fall of the Gold War Bear, a large pile of gold coins and different kinds of items rained down from its body and fell beside its corpse. When that flash of golden light rose up, everyone's gaze focused at Ling Chen's feet. There is clearly an upper garment flashing a golden glow. Gold equipment. The flashing golden aura practically blinded the eyes of all of the Black Flame Alliance and Battle Alliance players. At the current stage, even silver equipment is still something that only exists in legends. Gold equipment, that could even be called a mythical item. This is the first time that each of them has seen a gold equipment with their own eyes. Even though their hearts are still rapidly pounding from that shocking scene, their gazes were already filled with a deep desire and greed, some were even drooling from their mouths. Gold. Gold equipment. It dropped a gold equipment. One of Black Flame Alliance's players said with a shaky voice while wiping his drool. Shut up, it's not like I don't have eyes. Black Flame Bao said while biting his teeth. He opened his eyes wide, staring at that piece of armor emitting a golden color, his eyes filled with greed. But, that player beside the gold equipment, he is a monster that used only 2 seconds to deal with a Lord Boss and can deal over 1000 damage with one attack. Ling Chen completely ignored the trembling and greedy gazes of these players, treating them entirely like they didn't exist, taking his time to pick up this golden armor. Golden stitched garment, type, upper garment, grade, gold, equipment requirements, any class LV10 or above. An outer garment ingrained with gorgeous gold stitching, possesses a mysterious power. Attributes, defense plus 30, strength plus 5, agility plus 5, when attacked there is a 3% chance of reducing damage by 50%. Very good. Ling Chen directly took off his beast skin cloth and equipped this gold-grade golden stitched garment on his body. Instantly he felt his stats grow again. His current defense is entirely enough to make shield guards of the same level eat his dust. Watching Ling Chen equip that gold equipment on his body, those players in the middle of a trance once again swallowed a mouthful of saliva. At the current stage, even if it's a Lord Boss, the chances of it dropping a gold equipment are still relatively small. The drop rate and the quality of drops after a boss is killed are not only related to the luck value of the person that killed it, but is also greatly related to the level of the person, the amount of people and etc. Generally speaking, the lower your level and the lower the number of people, the easier it is for high-quality equipment to drop. This gold war bear was killed by Ling Chen alone in virtually an instant. Dropping a gold equipment can be considered normal. Just like when he killed a LV-10 celestial boss at LV-5 by himself in the underground space. What that triggered was a truly magnificent drop. All kinds of amazing items appeared, pretty much all of the items that could have been dropped by the greedy giant toad were dropped. The gold war bear dropped a total of 13 gold coins and 6 orange potions. Besides a golden stitched garment, there is also a pair of copper-grade magic shoes for apprentice elemental mages. He took a casual glance at it and then put it into his bag. The very last is an earth-yellow crystal shard. Energy crystal. Elementary defense crystal, type, energy crystal, grade, elementary, attribute, earth, effect, defense plus 6%. The Novice Village's item shop only has beginner energy crystals, and they are particularly expensive. Even up until now it is hard for regular players to have saved up the gold to buy any beginner energy crystal. As for Ling Chen having an energy orb, well, not everybody is able to meet and exterminate a celestial boss. Directly socketing this elementary energy crystal into the second socket of Lunar Scourge, his defense once again increased. Ling Chen then went around the gold war bear's body, walking toward Soaring Cloud that was stuck into the ground on an angle far away after shooting Soaring Cloud. When he walked up to Soaring Cloud, the effect of soul sacrifice also disappeared at that moment. Ling Chen casually drank an orange potion, returning his HP back to 201. Every person clearly saw that the attack that dealt over 5,000 damage in an instant was the last attack from throwing this spear out. Obviously, this should be a skill from the spear, a terrifying skill that's damage is greater than all currently known skills at this stage. And items that can have skills, at the very least need to be celestial grade. And the only piece of equipment on the equipment ranking chart, is precisely a celestial grade spear. Terrifying attack strength, a terrifying skill. Could it be that this spear is that soaring cloud that has already become world famous? And this person is the owner of Soaring Cloud. Ling Chen. That spear may be Soaring Cloud, that is a celestial item. A Black Flame Alliance player said excitedly. Soaring Cloud, that very first, and only piece of celestial equipment that shook the entire world when it appeared. Black Flame Bao's expression continuously shifted. Finally, he bit his teeth and shouted with a low voice, "Go!" He witnessed with his own eyes this person's terror. But the allure of a celestial item was great to the point that people simply could not resist it. He took a look at his party with a whole 30 people, in the end still releasing this command that is destined to make him regret it. Under his command, the players of the Black Flame Alliance were first dazed and then understood what he meant. They moved swiftly and all charged forward together. The moment that Ling Chen grasped Soaring Cloud and pulled it out, the 30 Black Flame Alliance players all had already tightly surrounded him, blocking all of his possible paths of retreat. The elemental mages in the back assumed the pose of chanting beginner magic, the archers also all lined up together and pull apart their bow strings. All kinds of different weapons flashed out, all pointing straight at Ling Chen. That face of Battle Alliance's shield guard changed. He hurriedly said, "Leader, don't interfere." Qiufeng said expressionlessly. He narrowed his eyes, gradually saying in a low voice, "Greed, truly is the scariest thing, it can make people become even dumber than pigs. They've already forgotten that they themselves do not have the ability to defeat a LV-10 Lord Boss, yet now they are contriving against this person that practically insta-killed a Lord Boss. But, they have a whole 30 people. It's very likely that the person has such terrifying attack strength because of his equipment. That spear could be Soaring Cloud on the weapon ranking chart, but his HP might be about the same as ours. If just a couple of these people hit him, it will kill him. If that person dies, he might drop that amazing equipment." The lead shield guard wanted to continue speaking, but seeing Qiufeng's cold gaze he hurriedly shut his mouth, not daring to speak anymore. "You have two choices. Either you hand over the two weapons in your hands and that golden armor on your body and we will let you peacefully leave. Or you can wait for us to kill you and then go pick them up ourselves. Be sensible, us Black Flame Alliance taking a liking to your equipment is your honor." Black Flame Bao said with a fierce face. What he thought was the same thing as Battle Alliance's lead shield guard, so even though he was still deeply afraid of Ling Chen, in his heart when he said this, he still had a bit of confidence. He doesn't believe that his HP is as crazy as his attack and can take the attack of all of the 30 people that were present. Ling Chen slowly held Soaring Cloud in his hand. Listening to Black Flame Bao's words, he did not respond. Instead he slightly lifted his head and then lightly took a step forward. Slash! Slash! Following that step that he took, a light yellow and a light silver arc simultaneously swept towards his two sides. Those are the crescent slashes, launched at the same time by Sand Blade and Soaring Cloud. Crescent slash that had reached max level can envelop a 4-meter area in the attacking direction, and it can hit a total of 5 targets. Simultaneously releasing 2 crescent slashes towards his left and right, the enveloped area of attack is a whole 8 meters. Ling Chen may have only taken what looked like an ordinary little step, but it is exactly this little step that allowed his left and right crescent slashes to each sweep through the 5 people on both sides closely surrounding him. -309, -602, -331, -312, -302, -311, -622, -308, -313, -608. 2 sword arcs, 10 damage values floating up at the same time. The HP of 10 apprentice warriors and apprentice assassins that were swept by Ling Chen's crescent slashes were instantly emptied. After a short pause they all fell to the ground. Killing 10 people in a step. Fast! Qiufeng exclaimed in his heart. His profession is also apprentice warrior. the attack just now was clearly the basic skill of apprentice warriors, crescent slash. But those two crescent slashes just now were the most stunning that he'd ever seen. No one could see clearly his hand movements, like a flash of lightning the two crescent slashes had already been unleashed. This kind of hand movement speed made even him feel his heartbeat quicken. He didn't know who could dodge his close-range attacks with this kind of hand speed. At least he knew he cannot. This person, exactly who is he? Black Flamebow had just finished shouting his threat, and in the blink of an eye, 10 Black Flame Alliance players fell over. Black Flame Alliance's players were all immediately stunned. Towards regular players, this short moment of blankness couldn't be considered much, but for Apex Masters, one moment is enough to determine life and death. At the instant that they returned to their senses, Ling Chen once again took a step forward, his two hands striking out like lightning again, the second's round of crescent slashes cutting towards both sides and sweeping over. At the Novice village there is no judgment for crime value for killing players, so he was killing them without any worry. And even if there was, he would still not hold back at all. Bam, 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 bam. The last 3 apprentice assassins were also killed with one hit. The 3 shield guards swept by the other crescent slash also entered a critical state. Only now did the Black Flame Alliance players, as if waking up from a dream, look at the corpses that had covered the ground in an instant. They felt numerous gusts of cold air traversing through their bodies, making them feel a series of chills from their skin to their organs. Being hit at the tip of his toes by a falling corpse, the entire body of Black Flamebow trembled as if suddenly woke up from a nightmare. Shields. All shields go and block him. Archers and mages immediately concentrate your fire. Immediately, he hoarsely yelled while hurriedly retreated. Before he could react there were already a dozen bodies on the ground. This person, is he a player or a demon? Under his command the 6 shield guards in the group all crazily charged forward, charging at Ling Chen from different directions, attempting to use their bodies to block all of his positions of displacement. As long as they can temporarily restrict his movements, the concentrated attacks of the archers and mages will definitely be able to take his life within a second. But, if Ling Chen was so easy to deal with, he would not be Ling Chen then. At a LV5 condition he is able to kill a LV10 celestial boss. How would the current him think anything of these harmless trash? No matter how much trash there is, they are still trash. When the shield guards charged over to Ling Chen's body, he had already moved away rapidly, another 2 crescent slashes sweeping in both directions at the same time. A 4-meter attack area. Before these shield guards could even get close to him they had all already been hit. The 3 shield guards from before in critical condition all fell down, and the HP of the other 3 shield guards were also almost instantly cleared. With Ling Chen's attack strength, within these players, only shield guards with high HP and defense could just barely take one of his attacks and not die. Careful! At the same time that Ling Chen exterminated the 3 shield guards, Qiufeng knit his eyebrows and almost shouted out with a low voice. When Ling Chen launches an attack his body will also have a brief moment of stillness, and it is exactly at this moment that the first attack wave of the 10 archers and mages suddenly arrived. 10 people launching an attack together and all focusing on Ling Chen, this kind of concentrated attack simply cannot be dodged. Fwoosh, fwoosh. The sound of flying arrows shot past the sides of everyone's ear. Right when everyone thought that Ling Chen would be hit by at least over half of the arrows and elemental bullets, they all suddenly felt like the scenery in front of them blur. The figure surrounded by arrows and elemental bullets produced an abnormal distortion and illusion, and then almost bizarrely moved 3 positions to the right while they are all absent-minded. All of the arrows and elemental bullets all passed through the location of their target and then powerlessly disappeared thereafter, reaching the limit of their attack range. And the target of these arrows and elemental bullets. Ling Chen was standing there completely unharmed, on his body not a single damage value appeared. None of these arrows and elemental bullets actually hit him. The situation at that time, exactly how did he avoid it? The Battle Alliance players that witnessed this all let out a cry of disbelief in their hearts. I actually couldn't see his movements clearly, not at all. Xiao Qiufeng's hands slightly clenched, his forehead also tightening. That scene just now gave him too much shock. Being able to be listed number 7 in the Heaven ranking, his combat awareness is incredibly strong. This entire time he was tightly staring at all of Ling Chen's movements. But even under this kind of focus, he actually didn't see clearly exactly how Ling Chen had dodged so many arrows and magic attacks in an instant. Evading the arrows and magic did not mean that Ling Chen is safe. The moment that he steadied himself, the last 2 apprentice warriors of Black Flame Alliance simultaneously attacked him from behind. After shifting positions, the bodies of regular people at this time should be unstable, and shouldn't be able to rapidly changing positions again. These 2 attacks suddenly coming from behind are simply impossible to avoid. Clang! That sound of metal clashing made even Xiao Qiufeng's heart jump with it. The attacks of the 2 apprentice warriors did not land on Ling Chen's body, instead Soaring Cloud had landed on the target that he had suddenly swung behind him. The silver body of the spear firmly held onto the 2 steel swords, making them unable to advance even an inch. While the 2 warriors were completely dazed, Ling Chen's sand blade arrived following the turning of his body, a crescent slash sweeping into their bodies. Without any doubt, insta-kill. Parry. And it's even while his back was facing towards them, simultaneously parrying 2 weapons. This time Xiao Qiufeng finally could no longer maintain his composure, his usually very cold face right now revealed deep shock. As an ultimate expert of the sword, Xiao Qiufeng understands better than anyone else how hard it is to trigger parry for a weapon. Even people who have attained pinnacle control towards a weapons find it difficult to divert their attention in intense combat to grasp that instantaneous parry point. To purposely trigger parry with your back facing the attack is even harder. To parry 2 weapons while your back is facing them, that requires a countless amount of practice to be able to step on this kind of bullshit luck. Is it luck, or coincidence? With the separation of the iron mask, Xiao Qiufeng was unable to see the expression of that face under the mask. But, recalling his simple, casual and smooth movements like water, recalling that he can use 2 weapons to simultaneously activate 2 different skills or the same skill, his hand movements that are God knows how many times faster than regular players. The voice in his heart told him that the parry just now, seems, to not be a simple coincidence. If it really isn't a coincidence, then this person. He is a monster. Exactly who is he? Why have I never heard of any rumors regarding this person? Next, is Ling Chen's retaliating time. He turned around launching an attack, the 2 shield guards in critical state were all insta-killed. He then headed straight for the archers. The attack area of a crescent slash is already pretty large, simultaneously using 2 crescent slashes is entirely doubling the attack area, it can lock onto double the amount of targets. The archers were all standing together, as if waiting to go reincarnate together. Ling Chen dashed forward, a crescent slash simultaneously sweeping towards the left and right bringing up 5 screams of despair. How could these brittle archers possibly withstand Ling Chen's attack? They were all insta-killed. After the archers, are the completely trembling elemental mages. Seeing Ling Chen approach they all subconsciously turned around and ran away in horror. In just a couple seconds of time, a 30-people group only had the remainings of a couple of fragile magicians, who could withstand this kind of mental impact. But, even if they regret it now, it is simply too late. Ling Chen moved like a gale of wind. 2 different arcs of light rose up in front of him enveloping all of the 5 elemental mages within. -328, -329, -325, -652, -318. With the brittle health of apprentice mages, the amount of HP they can have at this level will not surpass 200. Ling Chen's one attack was more than enough to make them die twice. The last crescent slash also made sure that all of the elemental mages are killed in action. Ling Chen's movements finally stopped. He stood there, a sword and a spear in hand. The ground around him had one after another corpses sprawled in different directions along with all of the equipment that they dropped. In the Mystic Moon world, even if it's the Novice village, after death there are still the rules of level and equipment dropping. The corpses lying on the ground totaled 29. Black Flame Alliance's 30 players currently only had the remaining Black Flame Bao, who was standing far away with his entire body trembling in fear. This person, he is a monster. The veins on Black Flame Bao's two hands that were tightly holding onto his longbow pulsed. He felt that his entire heart had intensely curled up and was about to burst at any moment. 29 people were just like that, cleanly swept away in the blink of an eye. Right now he still hasn't completely recovered. He even wondered if everything that had just happened was real or not. He could not see this person's name, could not see his appearance. He even hasn't heard him emit a single sound. Just like a silent, faceless Grim Reaper. Black Flame Bao's two legs were shivering. This is his first time being so afraid of a person in a game world. Because this person is more terrifying than any player, any boss that he has ever seen. His feet retreated, and the same time fleeing in fear while releasing a trembling shout, messing with Black Flame Alliance. You will definitely regret it. Watching Black Flame Bao fleeing in a panic, a hint of disdain flashed across Ling Chen's eyes. He did not chase him, instead grabbing Soaring Cloud, a shooting Soaring Cloud, throwing forward. Fwoosh! -1,700. The silver spear flashed by like a shooting star, piercing through the running away Black Flame Bao's body, bringing up a yellow damage value. Another critical hit. Having the Heartless Orb, the appearance of critical hits is starting to appear overly regularly. Black Flame Bao, who was in the middle of running, was shot down and started to roll. After a couple of rolls on the ground he lay there without any more movements. After a short moment he turned into a white light and disappeared from there. After flying outwards, Soaring Cloud pierced into the ground on an angle. Its position from Battle Alliance's players was only a short 5-meter distance. Ling Chen moved his foot, leisurely walking toward Soaring Cloud. This distance between him and Soaring Cloud is 15 meters. And while he was walking toward Soaring Cloud, towards this celestial item, that's allure was simply too great to resist and was right in front of them. Not a single one of Battle Alliance's players dared to attempt to approach Soaring Cloud. They all carried a gaze of fear, watching Ling Chen step by step get closer. None of them doubted that whoever dared to take half a step toward Soaring Cloud would be the next person to die by his hands. There would be no escape. What an arrogant person. The lead shield guard of the Battle Alliance said with a frown. The great Qiufeng taking the initiative to speak to him, and yet he didn't pay him any attention. More than just arrogant, in their eyes his arrogance practically had no limits. The shield guard was startled and then immediately said, unconvinced, "Humph, he only stepped on some kind of dog's hit luck and gained a celestial item, that's it. If leader had the same equipment, destroying him would be easy as pie." His arrogance can only be at this time. When the heaven ranking and earth ranking experts all start to develop, there will be no place for him to be arrogant. Stepping on dog's hit luck, getting very lucky. I don't know, there's most likely some kind of story for this. Qiufeng shook his head. He is more than just having powerful equipment. Maybe he is a person even scarier than Yan Huang Alliance's Sword Emperor and the Dark Knight's Death God. Remembering those completely unseeable movements that he used to evade the concentrated arrows and magic attacks, and that backwards parry against the attacks of those two warriors in that kind of dangerous situation. Also that faint feeling that he emitted that made his heart feel an inexplicable chill. Qiufeng's heart was entirely unable to calm down. This is definitely not a person whose strength simply depends on his equipment. Then again, without extremely powerful strength, how could he obtain this kind of equipment that at the novice stage could be considered a cheat? This person, exactly who is he? Even scarier than Sword Emperor and Death God? That's not possible, right? They are the world-recognized only 2 SS rank experts in China. The shield guard said, unable to believe Qiufeng's word. Brother! A series of crisp cries came from behind. Hearing this voice, Qiufeng's rigid expression eased down, turning around and looking towards that girl jogging over. The girl is 16, 17 years of age, wearing a slightly tight light red apprentice elemental mage robe on her body, outlining her thin waist and perky breasts, showcasing her curvaceous body. What was clearly just an ordinary mage robe, worn on her body, had an elegant and refined feeling. Only 16, 17 years of age, but she had clearly developed early, a sexy figure with amazing curves, bright delicate rosy lips, a perfect, straight, delicate nose, long, curled black eyelashes, an unmatched beauty with a stunningness that could throw the world into disorder. Matched with her smooth fair skin and vibrant beauty, she had a unique aura of liveliness and a youthful charm. Princess. The arrival of this girl made the eyes of everyone light up, but then immediately lower their heads and respectfully greet her. Because she is the only daughter of the leader of the Battle Alliance, in reality, Battle Alliance's princess that has gathered the love of everyone since she was little, and also the little sister of the game world's Battle Alliance's leader Qiufeng. Incredibly luckily, this pair of brother and sister were actually placed in the same novice village at the novice stage. Didn't they say that a lord boss appeared? Where is it? The girl jogged before Qiufeng, lifting her head and looking around the surroundings, her beautiful face filled with excitement. Seemingly never having thought of the scariness of a lord boss. Already dead. Qiufeng pointed at the corpse of the Gold War bear that hadn't disappeared yet. Already dead. The girl's soft lips widened, releasing a series of exclamations. Whoa! Brother! You guys are really too amazing. Actually dealing with the Lord Boss so quickly. Truly my most amazing big brother. Oh right, did it drop anything good? Is there anything suitable for me to use? The staff that I'm using is still really basic. Qiufeng. We didn't kill it, it was someone else. Someone else? The girl paused for a moment. Is it that someone else stole its ownership? Is it that the other side had more people? Or else how could they beat Big Brother? Qiufeng shook his head, saying with a sigh, it's not like that. The reality is that we didn't even move, that Lord Boss was killed by a person, just one person, and it was practically an insta-kill. The girl widened her eyes, her face filled with disbelief. How could there be a Lord Boss that could be insta-killed by a person? This is something that you wouldn't believe unless you saw it with your own eyes. Even though this person's name has never been heard of before, but from the weapon ranking list and his current mannerism, it doesn't seem like he will maintain a low profile. If it's like this, then you will know who he is very soon. Qi, you said this time you don't want to join Battle Alliance, what's going on? Qiufeng asked with a frown. The girl called Qi narrowed a pair of beautiful eyes with long, curved eyelashes, saying very seriously, I've already promised Mengxin Jiejia to join her Heart's Dream studio. Qiufeng had a short moment of silence before opening his mouth, saying, you should also know that Yun Mengxin has absolutely no hope of winning the bet with her father. Garnering a fortune within 2 years that can match the current Yun family, this is simply fool's talk. Not to mention her father has even purposely spread out this news, causing everybody to know about it. The Long family also already knows about it. Yun Mengxin will also definitely be isolated and without help because of this. She probably knows herself that there is simply no hope. This insignificantly weak struggle of her is only just that pitiable intolerance in her heart. There is absolutely no meaning in you helping her. Xiao Qi pursed her lips, saying defiantly, I don't care, I have to help Mengxin Jiejia. I will not interfere with you. But you need to be clear that even if you are there, Battle Alliance will not intervene and help. Xiao Qiufeng said with a serious expression. Xiao Qi pursed her lips, holding her arms and saying, "Brother, I'm not an insensible person, of course I won't allow Battle Alliance to stand at the opposite side of the Yan Huang Alliance. Me helping Mengxin Jiejia is my own personal affair, it has nothing to do with Battle Alliance." Xiao Qiufeng, actually we all know that Mengxin Jiejia has no hope of succeeding. But, we will not give up. We all like Mengxin Jiejia, even if we know that it is impossible to succeed we still need to have the courage to fight back and not give up. So, we will use our method to continue working hard. We girls don't want to be the victims of family benefit. Not only is it just me that thinks like this and is doing so. Su Su and Mu Jia will also join our side. Xiao Qi gripped tight her little fists, biting her lips and saying firmly. Su Su? Su family's princess. That Mu Jiejia, could it be? A hint of surprise flashed across Xiao Qiufeng's face. He's seen Yun Minxin before, he believes that she has the ability to steal the souls of men, with that person's background being so infatuated with her can be considered a normal thing. But who knew that her charm was also so great amongst women? My little sister is willing to leave the Battle Alliance to help her, joining that little studio that is destined to have no future. Even Su family's eldest daughter and the person called Mu Jiejia by Xiao Qi also. Mu Bingyao, she is the Ice Heart Demon ranked 5th on the heaven ranking. But what they need to face is the entire Yan Huang Alliance. Because that person is the leader of the entire world's biggest guild, the Yan Huang Alliance's #1 seat. On the soft grass a bunch of little raccoons leisurely walked around. They didn't even have any reaction when Ling Chen walked into their territory, clearly not the attack-on-sight type of creatures. Ling Chen scanned the surroundings, not seeing the existence of other players he called out his 2 weapons and charged straight up, cutting towards the little raccoons. Fire of Rage. Xing. Xing. -358, -356, -718. He charged straight at the most concentrated area of raccoons, a crescent slash to the left and right, simultaneously killing 4 little raccoons. With his current attack strength, under the effect of Fire of Rage he can directly one-shot a little raccoon without even a critical hit with a one-hand attack. Both hands together, every round of attack caused a small group of little raccoons to fall down. The temperament of little raccoons is gentle, belonging to the type of creatures that only attacks when attacked, it will not automatically attack if no one attacks it. Therefore against Ling Chen that can insta-kill them, every little raccoon that died didn't even have the chance to attack. Just like this, his 2 hands simultaneously released crescent slashes, quickly clearing the HP of one after another little raccoons, he really didn't feel any pressure at all. The territory of these little raccoons is truly an amazing farming ground, the area is vast and the spawn time is not slow. But the speed that Ling Chen cleared these little raccoons was honestly too shocking. Every dozen minutes Ling Chen's movements would be forced to stop, waiting for the next wave of little raccoons to appear. While the majority of players were forming parties and farming LV7 black rabbits or LV8 goblins, who would have thought that there is actually a person going to the territory of LV10 creatures and wreaking havoc by himself, and his efficiency is scarily shocking. One person, practically taking an entire farming map for himself. Under the negative effects of Heaven's jealousy, Ling Chen's leveling difficulty was double of other players. But he has the ability to one-shot LV10 creatures, has 2 weapons and has max level skills. His LV9 experience bar was still rising at a relatively rapid speed. TL, that LV8 goblin is really random. Insta-killing a LV10 Lord Boss. Dealing 5,000 damage? The fuck, can you at least have some IQ when you try to trick people? Did you eat too much shit and choke on it? Hello OP, can I ask which mental hospital you are from? Is it that you forgot to take your medicine today? A bunch of gold equipment. You think gold equipment is bok choy. TL, saying something is bok choy or some other vegetable is saying that it is very common. You've seen Ling Tian, Tui, and I've seen your little sister. Insta-killing a LV-10 Lord Boss, Tui, and I insta-killed your father. Dealing 5,000 damage? Your mom, it's bad enough that you're coming here to show off your IQ, you also want to treat us as a retard like yourself? OP's ID belongs to Black Flame Alliance. No need to think about it, meeting Ling Tian might be real. They definitely wanted to take his equipment but then failed like miserable shits, so they're using this kind of crappy idea to drag hatred towards Ling Tian. Black Flame Alliance only has this bit of ability. Although speaking of it, why did they find a person with such a low IQ to make a post? Even saying things like insta-killing a Lord Boss and dealing 5,000 damage, okay, my guess is also that he ate too much shit and choked on it. Yuan Fong, how do you see this? Yuan Fong thinks that this person's ID was hacked, or else they would not release such a retarded speech. But we cannot exclude the possibility that it is this person's psychosis acting up. TL, psychosis. This post was indeed posted by those insta-killed Black Flame Alliance players. Ling Chen's scariness made them not have the balls to go mess with him again. After all, there are 100,000 novice villages, them having a couple dozen of people in the same novice village is already a relatively large scale, them going again is just suicide. Thus they wanted to use this kind of method to incite more people to go trouble him. But the result made them want to cry. Not only does no one believe them, instead it even brought about a slew of ridicule and cursing. Thinking back about it, if they didn't experience and see it for themselves, they too wouldn't believe that someone can insta-kill a Lord Boss at the current stage and deal 5,000 damage. If someone said so, they would also not believe it. And would even treat them like a lunatic. Even if they wanted to rebut, they were simply powerless because the killing of the Lord Boss occurred in just the blink of an eye, they could not have been able to film it on time. The following attack by them was also dealt with like a gust of wind sweeping through falling leaves. They couldn't even keep their lives, who would have the time to film? The Battle Alliance players who were there and saw this post would also only maintain silence. Ling Chen. Was there a conflict between you and Black Flame Alliance? Qiufeng's voice sounded from the communication device of Ling Chen, who was in the middle of murdering little raccoons. Yeah. Ling Chen casually swung his hand, another 3 little raccoons falling in front of him. He then looked at his experience bar that had increased a bit. When he had just obtained Lunar Scourge, its negative effects made him very much want to take it off. But now, he realizes how foolish his thoughts were at the time. The EXP that he needs to rise a level is double of other players, and leveling speed will also be half of the rest of the players, but one Gemini orb made his leveling efficiency far more than double. His current leveling rate completely surpassed his state before obtaining Lunar Scourge. I see. You don't know, Black Flame Alliance, that group of idiots just released a post to pull hatred towards you. Saying that you have a body of equipment that can insta-kill a LV-10 Lord Boss, and can deal 5,000 damage with one attack, I laughed my ass off. Even if they want to incite some greedy people to go mess with you, they didn't need to be so retarded by saying such retarded statements. Insta-killing a Lord Boss, dealing 5,000 damage, it'd be strange if people actually believed it, Black Flame Alliance is a big guild. At its peak condition it has hundreds of thousands members, but the IQ of the person that released this post is really worrying. Ling Chen, I need to continue farming, so don't bother me for now. Before Qiufeng could finish speaking, Ling Chen had already cut off the connection, and then continuing his pace of murdering little raccoons. Continuing to stay in the same map and restlessly killing until the evening before disconnecting. The instant that he left the Mystic Moon world, Lunar Scourge vanished from his wrist in a slightly flickering black light. But Ling Chen himself did not witness this scene. The night veil lowering, after Ling Shui Ruo peacefully fell asleep, Ling Chen once again entered the world of Mystic Moon, appearing in the territory of the little raccoons. At the first moment he charged at the little raccoons that had already spawned across the entire area. With his current condition, there is no reason to not become the first person to leave the Novice village. The little raccoon territory that had finally calmed down once again sounded with a series of pitiful whimpers when little raccoons died. Lasting for a very long time, Ling Chen's experience bar also rose up bit by bit under the rapid deaths of the little raccoons. From 50% to 60%, and then to 80%. 90%. 95%. From LV9 to LV10 is a relatively difficult process. The EXP required is more than the total experience required to level from LV1 to LV9. Ling Chen himself didn't even realize how shocking his current leveling speed is. This is even under the negative impact of Lunar Scourge. When Ling Chen's experience reached 99% and was only a step away from LV10, a white light flashed by in the center of the little raccoon territory and a big raccoon double the size of regular raccoon spawned. It waved its front paws in a frenzy, its eyes releasing a fierce light, completely lacking of the gentleness of regular little raccoons. Big raccoon, type, beast, level, LV10, grade, 3-star elite, HP, 2500. Mutation of the little raccoon, has a large body and violent nature, will automatically attack any outside beings. Need to be careful of its sharp claws. Ling Chen's gaze locked onto its body, he glanced at his current experience value, his eyes narrowing. I will use you, as a magnificent end to my time in the Novice village. Fire of Rage. Soul Sacrifice. Shooting Soaring Cloud. Under Fire of Rage and Soul Sacrifice, Ling Chen's attack strength had risen to a point that made people tremble. Raising up Soaring Cloud, following the movement of Ling Chen's body, it shot towards the newly spawned big raccoon. Gwoosh! -2853. Soaring Cloud pierced through the chest of the big raccoon and came out from its back, piercing into the soft grassland on an angle, a red damage value gradually fading over the big raccoon's head. 300% damage, 15-meter flying distance, absolute hit. Shooting Soaring Cloud was undoubtedly the most powerful attack skill that Ling Chen currently possessed. One attack, directly clearing all of its HP. Before even having a chance to get a clear look of this world, the newly spawned big raccoon's body stiffened, and then fell to the ground in a long whimpering sound. Ding, you have successfully killed LV10 3-star elite big raccoon, fame +30, SP +30. Ding. Congratulations, you have leveled up, now LV10, HP +10, MP +10, gained 5 AP. Under the sweet sound of the system notification, Ling Chen's level finally reached LV10. But even if he leveled up, under the effect of Soul Sacrifice, his HP did not recover. From this the extreme overbearingness of this skill can be seen. Ling Chen let out a long breath, walking to the big raccoon's corpse. HR picked up the only piece of equipment that it dropped. Silver boots, type, boot, grade, silver, equipment requirements, any profession LV10 or above. Boots forged from silver, flickers a mysterious silver glow, attributes, defense +10, strength +5, agility +5, movement speed +10. One-shotting will without doubt increase that probability of dropping high-grade equipment. This 3-star elite actually directly dropped a silver equipment. This made Ling Chen a bit pleasantly surprised for a bit and then equipped the silver boots without any hesitation. Like this, besides his upper garment and rings, all of the equipment on his body is at least silver grade. This is something that other players couldn't even dream of. Still placing all of the AP gained from leveling up into strength, like this even without any buffs, his basic attack strength has already surpassed 300. An extremely terrifying number. Glancing at his attributes in satisfaction, Ling Chen left the little raccoon territory and headed straight for the Novice village. "Hello Chief, please send me to Forgotten Continent." Ling Chen came in front of the village chief and said straight to the point. Maybe the better choice is that he remains in the novice village for a period of time to look for some hidden elements, but in contrast he still chose to immediately leave the novice village, because the very first person to leave the novice village would very likely receive some special rewards. "Oh, it's you, young hero. You want to head towards Forgotten Continent? You need to know that you need to reach LV10 to have the qualifications to head there." "Wait, You're actually already LV10. Suddenly seeing Ling Chen's level, the chief cried out in surprise. According to his calculations, the fastest these other world humans can leave the novice village is 2 to 3 days later. It really is too astonishing, actually reaching LV10 so quickly. "You are definitely a very amazing hero," the chief complimented, saying. "Forgotten Continent, that is a place that makes people cherish the memory of it. Right now you do indeed possess the qualifications to head towards Forgotten Continent. There you will have a new beginning and official class. Although, before that, there is something that I need to tell you. Until now, of the entire Mystic Moon world's outer islands there is still not yet an other world human like you who has left. If you leave now, you will become the first other world hero to leave the novice village." "Ling Chen, I did not expect such a hero to actually appear in the place that I stay. It really makes me proud and thrilled. Then, before you leave, I have something that needs to be given to you. This item can only be given to the first person to leave the novice village." Finishing speaking, the village chief took out a round item the size of a palm. "That is clear an insignia. Don't compare them to Sherlock and Watson, please. Although it's not impossible to raise luck and comprehension, it is still a very difficult thing to do. Even increasing them by 1 is difficult because they are innate attributes. They will not change with one's level or job class, and normal equipment will definitely not add to innate attributes. Luck and comprehension will only improve with unique rewards that are only obtained by completing special tasks. However, the chances of getting a special task are very small, and the majority of the players will never get such an opportunity. Even if they do, they still might not be able to complete the task. For instance, this badge that adds 1 to both luck and comprehension, is something that solely the first player to leave the novice village can obtain. "Thank you, Chief," Ling Chen politely replied as he took the badge and equipped it. However, he was still confused. It is said that this badge is only awarded to the first player to leave the novice village, but he has technically not yet left the novice village. Nevertheless, the chief has already given the badge to me. Is he not afraid of me just suddenly deciding to not go? You truly deserve this badge. And yes, the place that you will be transferred to will be one of the main 5 cities of the Forgotten Continent, the Dragon City. When you get there, you should go meet the city chief, and when he sees your badge he might be willing to give you some special tasks. So, do you want to leave for the Forgotten Continent right now? This is external region, it is not on the same area of the Forgotten Continent. So if you chose to leave here, then you will never be able to come back. It is best for you to complete any unfinished tasks you have here before leaving. I believe that even if you chose to go tomorrow, you will still be the first to leave Novice Village, said the smiling chief. After thinking for a bit, Ling Chen asked, "Chief, after hearing you talk about the Forgotten Continent, is it alright for me to ask a few questions about that place?" Nostalgia reflected upon the chief's face as he started to state, "Yes, I have been to the Forgotten Continent when I was young, and I have completed my lifelong wish of traveling across it, but some things that happened in my later years has made me inclined to come here. You are the first to leave here, so ask whatever you want. I am very willing to answer all your questions." Nodding his head, Ling Chen asked, "What kind of place is the Dragon City?" The Dragon City is to the east of the Forgotten Continent. It is one of the 5 main cities of the Forgotten Continent. The 5 main cities are the Azure Dragon City of the east, the White Tiger City of west, the Vermilion Bird City of the south, the Black Tortoise City of the north, and the Forgotten City at the center. The land of the Forgotten Continent is extremely vast, and along with the 5 main cities, there are countless other cities, towns, and villages scattered across the land like stars in the night sky. And of course all of this is human territory. The power of humans is not very substantial, their strength is nowhere near that of the Beast clan, and it cannot even be compared to the Ocean clan. But humans are able to obtain a land that is as vast as the Forgotten Continent in the world of Mythic Moon is because of 2 reasons: 1, the human intelligence, and 2, the protection of the Moon God clan. And because of this reason, humans have developed an eternally unwavering faith in the Moon God clan. After all, it is only due to the existence of the Moon God clan which can oppress the ancient demons. Young one, you who come from another world may not be able to understand our faith in the Moon God clan, but when you get to the Forgotten Continent, or anywhere outside, do not say anything that would disrespect the Moon God clan. And don't do anything that would offend the Moon God clan. Or else you will be dislikes and you may be ostracized. Ling Chen. Unintentionally, he took a brief look at the Luna chain on his wrist. Tao Tai told him that to wear the Lune chain was the same as to become the sworn enemy of the Moon God clan. This was a fact that he can never hope to change. But to become an enemy of the Moon God clan was equivalent as to becoming the enemy of all of the Forgotten Continent. The chief continued speak with an unchanging face. The Dragon City that you will sent to is the most comfortable city of the Forgotten Continent, the people there are very passionate and friendly. The monsters in that area are also very weak, I believe you will definitely like it there. The Dragon City is rumored to be protected by the mysterious god Azure Dragon, which is part of the legendary mysterious god Beast, so there are few things in this world that can threaten the peace of the Dragon City. And the other 4 cities also have the protection of their legendary guardians that they are named after. The Tiger City has the mysterious god White Tiger, the Bird City has the mysterious god Vermilion Bird, the Tortoise City has the mysterious god Black Tortoise, the Central Forgotten City is protected by the strongest of the 5 Saint Destroyers of the Forgotten Continent, the Kirin. 5 Saint Destroyer, there are 5 Saint Destroyers on the Forgotten Continent? Ling Chen said with shock in his voice. Yes, the chief responded while nodding his head, Saint Destroyers are not only the strongest on the Forgotten Continent, they are at the top ranks of this world as well. The power held by these 5 Saint Destroyers cannot be rivaled by any. Who are the 5? 1 is the Kirin, it is one of the first creatures said to be born in Mythic Moon, it symbolizes prosperity and protection, and it holds the strongest holy powers in this world. The other guardians of the 4 cities, Azure Dragon, Vermilion Bird, White Tiger, Black Tortoise, all have to obey its orders. It is also the most peaceful of the 5 Saint Destroyers. Rumor states that it is somewhere within the Forgotten City, but no one has seen it yet. 2 is the Jinwu, Golden Crow, which is also called the Sun Crow. Legend states that it is a divine creature birthed by the sun high in the heavens. It can control solar flame that is strong enough to incinerate all in this world. It holds the most calamitous abilities in the 5 sacred beasts, but it also has a very fragile life force. At the same time, it is the most feared nemesis of the monsters left by the ancient demon gods. The 10 mysterious god beasts will all tremble before it. However, there are precarious legends that state that the Jinwu's root fire has already been extinguished many moons ago, and thus has disappeared in this world. 3 is the Void Dragon God, it is part of the strongest species of beast on the Forgotten Continent, it is at the top of the Dragon clan. Not only does it bear the might that can destroy this land, but it also holds the power of calling upon the whole Dragon clan. Even the Moon God clan does not dare to disrespect it. For it is the divine guardian of the Moon God clan, the 8-winged Heaven Tiger. In the past it was the mount of the fierce Moon God, even though it is a beast, it has the same status as the 3 goddesses of the Moon God clan: order, destiny, and freedom. Rumor has it that with just one roar, it can cause the skies to collapse and the land to split. 5 is the king of the Ocean clan, the oceanic rage shark. It holds a colossal-sized body and strength that cannot be rivaled. Everything that is in or above the sea is under its control. There is no creature that can cause any threat to its might of the sea. If it is angered, then the whole ocean will turn. The chief took a short breath after introducing the 5 sacred beasts of the Forgotten Continent, and started again. The Kirin, the Golden Crow, the Void Dragon God, the 8-winged Heaven Tiger, and the Oceanic Rage Shark are the strongest beasts of the Forgotten Continent and the sea surrounding it. They hold indomitable strength and everlasting lives. Their appearance was made possible by many unknown forces, growths, and evolutions. Except for the Golden Crow, the other 4 sacred beasts should still exist in this world, but the chance of encountering any one of them is extraordinarily rare. Ling Chen meticulously memorized the names of the 5 sacred beasts and all the other information, then asked, "Do the 3 goddesses of the Moon God clan also hold the power of Saint Destroyer?" "Yes," answered the chief as he nodded his head. "The Order Goddess, the Freedom Goddess, and the Destiny Goddess also hold the top tiers of Saint Destroyer. Although they hold the same appearance as humans, they have already far surpassed human levels. After all, the human's pinnacle stops at Mysterious God, and no matter how hard a human works they will never even touch a Saint Destroyer. However, to get to the level of Mysterious God is already an almost impossible task for humans to complete. Since hundreds of thousands of years have passed, there has only been 2 or 3 that have reached the Mysterious God tier in human history. The goddesses bear a bloodline and strength that differs from the human. But it is not only just them, their moon god messengers also hold powers of the Mysterious God. No, they surpass the Mysterious God level, and can be placed in the middle of Mysterious God and Saint Destroyer. Ha, you might feel surprised, but this is all true. The Moon God clan is indeed omnipotent. Ling Chen signed a breath of cold air. The Saint Destroyer strength of the goddesses of the Moon God clan, even their messengers have strengths that are at least of Mysterious God tier. This was such an almighty strength, in their eyes his power is perhaps even less than that of an ant. But he who possesses the Lunar Scourge, is fated to become the enemy of the Moon God clan. They could be considered the strongest of human, Ling Chen inattentively soliloquized. Yes, if you view them as humans, then they are indeed the strongest of humans. Humans look up to and worship them, and they shoulder the preservation of all humans within the Forgotten Continent. If humans ever encounter any calamities, they will never abandon them. However, they also will never interfere with disputes or wars that happen between humans. From within the humans, only the Night Demon clan can oppose them. But the Night Demon clan never involve themselves in any human activities, their only enemy is the Moon God clan. It's almost as if they hold a great vengeance that can never be alleviated towards the Moon God clan. The Night Demon clan are very enigmatic, no one knows where they are and why they hate the Moon God clan. Although we have never seen proof of their existence, we know that they have regularly attacked the Moon God clan. Thus all humans on the Forgotten Continent and the whole of the Moon God clan view them as their nemesis. The humans of the Night Demon clan are also very strong, and every time they attack they bring great trouble to the Moon God clan. But still they have never really caused any substantial threat to the Moon God clan. And there exists no one else in this world that can cause any threat to the Moon God clan, because that is an inconceivable thing to do. Suddenly the chief's voice slowed, as if he had just remembered something else as a terrible disturbance flickered upon his face. He took a long breath as his voice began to deepen. If I had to say that there was ever a human that could threaten the Moon God clan, then there can only be Shura. Shura? Ling Chen said curiously. What? Ling Chen replied with a great jolt. Ling Chen does not know exactly how vast the land of the Forgotten Continent was, but the fact that it is able to hold several 100 million players means that it was definitely not small. There has to be countless humans, beasts, demons, and other living beings on such an enormous land. And their numbers have to counted by the billions. But just one Shura killed 1/10 of all the living beings on the Forgotten Continent. What a frightening number this is. You didn't mishear me, it was indeed 1/10. This terrifying number is almost unbelievable. Such a number would send chills down anyone's spine. One could not possibly imagine how horrifying the situation at that time could possibly have been without experiencing it themselves. According to the legends, wherever the Shura passed became a living hell. Because of his emergence, the Forgotten Continent became a sea of corpses, and all living beings lived their lives terrified of him. And out of all those he killed, there also included 30 oracles. Ling Chen. 30 oracles, who hold power greater than the mysterious god grade. But in end, his strength and his violent ways lead to divine punishment. Numerous lightning stuck down from the heavens in hopes of destroying his body. At the same time, the 3 goddesses of the Moon God clan united with the Void Dragon God to stop him. It is said that the battle lasted for 3 days and 3 nights. And at the sacrifice of 1/10 of the land of the Forgotten Continent, they finally managed to destroy the ancient item that helped him to enter Shura's path. However, even though they managed to become the victors, the 3 goddesses were gravely injured, and the Void Dragon God had to rest for 1,000 years before healing. If they did not have heaven's lightnings aiding them, even if they had united, they would not have won and would not have destroyed the Shura. After saying this, the chief's face was veiled in anguish as he stared at Ling Chen with a blank look in his eyes. But then he smiled and shook his head as he started again. "Ah, I really am getting older, now I can't even keep my mouth under control. I am not supposed to tell you this. The Forgotten Continent has always been trying to hide this history and let the people forget the calamity of the Shura that happened 10,000 years ago. And now, there are few that know of this. Even the Moon God clan has declared that the Shura will never appear on the Forgotten Continent again. You don't have to take in all that I just said." Ling Chen nodded his head, but the word Shura is now deeply carved into his mind. One human ravaged 1/10 of all living things on the Forgotten Continent. One human under the attack of a myriad of lightnings from the heavens managed to battle the Void Dragon God and the 3 goddesses of the Moon God clan alone. This level of merciless violence, strength, and prestige. The name Shura was not completely unfamiliar to Ling Chen. Right now in his bag, he held a piece of the sword used by the Shura that the chief speaks of, Shura Emperor Sword's broken piece. And within the description of Shura Emperor Sword's broken piece there was also one who became the incarnation of a Shura, the Red Mystical Sword King, whose only reason for living was to slaughter, massacring the lives of countless beings, causing the world to fall into chaos. In the end bringing onto himself the punishment of the heavens, befalling the combined judgment of Saint Destroyer Beast Void Dragon God and the 3 goddesses Fate, Order, Liberty, in the end dying under the hands of the 3 goddesses. And after hearing the chief speak about Shura, his heart trembled, because after understanding the strength of the 3 goddesses, he now clearly knew how terrifying of a task it was to battle the goddesses alone, and the fact that he now held one piece of the sword used made his heart tremble more than ever before. "I have unintentionally said so much, but anyway, young brave one, do you have any more questions? If you do not, then allow me to send you to the Forgotten Constituent," said the chief. "I want to ask, besides the 3 goddesses and the guardian beast, how many more oracles does the Moon God clan have?" "I am only trying to fulfill my curiosity," asked Ling Chen. The chief looked at him strangely and thought for a bit before replying, "It seems as if you care a lot of the Moon God clan, haha, but that is not a bizarre thing. The Moon God clan has around 200 high-level divine messengers, and they have all been sent all around the Forgotten Continent in order to maintain order. There is one oracle in the Forgotten Continent that we have named the Forgotten Goddess. She may even be in the sky above us and looking at us talk right now. Ha 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 ha, and there are also many other lower-grade oracles that I do not know of." 200 high-leveled oracles, such a number made Ling Chen gasp. This was such an overwhelming strength. No wonder the Moon God clan has the qualifications to control the entire mystic moon world. Any one of the oracles have already reached the mysterious god level. And it is indisputable that the 3 goddesses who stand at the top of the Moon God clan have the capability to regime over all living beings. Yet that Shura, using just the strength of a mere human to resist not only the three goddesses but also and the void dragon god, what a formidable human he must have been. Then how many more mysterious god-level beasts are there on the Forgotten Continent? Ling Chen continued to ask. He wanted to understand exactly how powerful the Forgotten Continent was. The chief thought for a while and answered, the land of Forgotten Continent is extremely vast, so no one can be certain of how many mysterious god-level beasts there are. After all, it is very rare for a mysterious god-level beast to appear, so even without counting the 10 ancient demons beasts, the Forgotten Continent should only have a number that is somewhere in the tens, including the guardian beasts that everyone knows of such as the Azure Dragon, White Tiger, Vermilion Bird, and Black Tiger along with the 10 ancient demon beasts. Then there should be over 20. You speak of the 10 ancient demon beasts, but what exactly is their history? Ling Chen asked. The 10 beasts appeared in ancient times where the leader of the Devil clan raised 10 of the greatest demons. But after the Devil clan was defeated, the 10 ancient demon beasts concealed themselves into unknown parts of the Forgotten Continent and have never appeared again. They each are of the mysterious god level, and the lands they have occupied are forbidden lands that no human dares to step in. The 10 ancient demon beasts include, 1. The Sky Demon Beast. It is the strongest one out of the 10 and it holds a massive body with 8 pairs of black feathered wings. It is rumored that its strength has surpassed mysterious god level and near the Saint Destroyer level. 2 is the Earth Demon Beast. Legend states it hides under the highest mountain of the Forgotten Continent. It holds the power of the earth and its ability to use the earth to conceal itself can be rivaled by none. 3 is the Tyrant Demon Beast who possesses the shape of a wolf. It holds a very violent behavior and likes to stay in dark environments because it is strongest under darkness. 4 is the Shadow Demon Beast who bears the strongest dark powers and has always existed in the shadows. 5 is the Flame Demon Beast who has the powerful ability to control devastating fires and lives a sea of flames. Although its fire ability is less than that of the Golden Crow, it is one of the 10 ancient demon beasts that is least afraid of the Golden Crow. 6 is the Rage Demon Beast, who is rumored to gather hatred from the souls of the dead. It is not afraid to light or dark powers, but its strength is unstable and varies from weak to strong. Sometimes it's stronger than the Sky Demon Beast, and other times it will drop to the Heaven's End level. 7 is the Wind Demon Beast, who was born from hurricane winds, and hold extremely strong wind-type abilities, enabling it to freely travel across the skies and the lands. 8 is the Ice Demon Beast who developed from the freezing polar ice. With just the wave of one hand, it can freeze everything within 1,000 miles. It should be somewhere in the glaciers of the far north. 9 is the War Demon Beast. It is the one that loves to battle the most out of the 10. Its personality is also the most frenzied of the 10, because the only thing it desires is more strength. 10 is the Light Demon Beast who is the most placid of the Demon Beast. It is the weakest in terms of attacks, but it is also the one with the strongest defense, life, and recovery ability out of the 10. It likes to live under in the deep seas, and should be in somewhere on the ocean's floor. These 10 ancient demon beasts do not fear the Moon God clan, because as long as they do not cause any great evils then the Moon God clan will not disturb them. But at the same time, they are extremely afraid of the Golden Crow, and have not come out for all these years because they tremble at the possibility that the Golden Crow might still be alive somewhere on the Forgotten Continent. If you don't include the Golden Crow, then there is nothing else they fear, because if all 10 united their strengths, it would be an easy thing for them to defeat a Saint Destroyer. Thus, because of this reason, even the Saint Destroyers do not want to disturb them. Young one, you must remember to avoid traveling to the extreme lands of the Forgotten Continent, because those places may be where the demon beast rest. The chief of Novice Village took extra care to explain this to Ling Chen because he saw great potential in the first player to leave Novice Village. And Ling Chen also faithfully memorized what the chief told him before asking, "Chief, have you ever heard of an item called Lunar Scourge?" Lunar Scourge, replied the confused chief, but after thinking for a while, he stated, I guess I still do not know enough about this world. This is the first time I have ever heard of this item. Young one, where did you learn of such a thing? Although this chief lived in the novice village, it was clear that he very knowledgeable. He had traveled across this world and knew of many things that normal people would never know of. So if he had heard of the lunar scourge, then it only means that this item has indeed been forgotten. After all, 10,000 years has passed and many generations have came and went, it was definitely enough time to forget a lot of things. Ling Chen shook his head as he said, I was just randomly asking. Thank you, Chief, for telling me so much. I do not have any more questions, please send me to the Forgotten Continent. The chief smiled while nodding his head, then let me send you now. I believe that as the first player to leave Novice village, you will become a great figure in the Forgotten Continent. So please work hard, young one, and please stand still. As the chief finished speaking, he raised his hands, and a circle of white light dropped from the sky and floated above Ling Chen's head. At this time, in the northeast corner of Novice village, the tattered door of the broken house that the chief advised not to go near opened, and the smelly old man in torn clothes walked out. Suddenly he felt a shock and turned his head, placing a pair of cloudy eyes onto Ling Chen. And onto lunar scourge that hanged on his wrist. His whole body began to tremble and he started to yell as he ran as fast as he could towards Ling Chen. The surrounding players were all surprised as they hurried to dodge him. Sigh, acting crazy again? I don't know about the origin of this crazy old man, he stayed here longer than me, did something agitate him? Oh. He looks like he is coming towards you. I will send you away quickly, he's extremely scary when he goes crazy. Ling Chen, finishing speaking, the chief hurriedly quickened the casting. Ling Chen's body is covered by a white light and disappeared from the place. Poof! The crazy old man threw himself fiercely to the place where Ling Chen was, he stared blankly at the empty ground in front of him. A few seconds later, he roared desperately like a monster, slapping his hands frantically on the ground. Every time his hands touched the ground, a thunder-like noise resounded, digging on the hard ground a pit of a few meters deep. All the players far away looked with terror at the crazy NPC. The chief is also confused at the sudden change, he escaped quickly. In his memories, the old man is usually calm, as long people don't provoke him, he won't provoke them, he acted crazy from times to times, but he was never this hysterical. The old man's cries became increasingly mad, his roaring voice shook the village and caused aching to the eardrums. His body rolled on the ground, struggling, flapping as if he was in great pain. At the same time, following the rolling of his body, an orb the size of a ping-pong ball emitting a faint white light fell from his body, slowly rolling to the side. The player's eyes immediately focused on that orb. The old man stopped rolling, he howled loudly, leaping like a wolf towards the rolling orb, keeping it tightly in his body, he protected it as if it was more important than his life. Ding, you have arrived at Azure Dragon City, ding. You are the first player to exit the Novice village, you have earned the rewards of plus 200 fame, plus 200 skills points, the event has been recorded in the World Hall of Fame, the system will inform all players from the world, do you want to hide your personal information? When the transporting light disappeared, in front of Ling Chen is a different space, his first feeling is the air is different, he looked up and a sound resounded near his ear, the usual crisp tone of the system. No need. Ling Chen answered directly without thinking. The first one outside the Novice village, sure enough there is a world announcement. At the end of his responses, a deafening announcement resounded throughout the world. Ding! Worldwide announcement. The first player of Mystic Moon to leave the Novice village has already emerged, the China region player, Ling Tian. This event has been recorded in the World Hall of Fame, Ling Tian has received plus 200 fame, plus 200 SP and a badge as rewards. We hope for the players to keep working hard, to go outside of the Novice village, into the new world. Wow! After the end of the announcement, there was a brief silence, then a huge uproar broke out. Only 5 days has passed from the opening of Mystic Moon, at the best the beginning of the 5th day, and right now, someone has already reached level 10 and left the Novice village. He only needs less than 5 days to reach level 10. Surprise, jealousy, disbelief. All the players in the Chinese server are in shock, they can't stop their heart pounding from excitement and pride. Although China has the highest numbers of players, in the history of virtual reality games to today, the first one to leave the Novice village, there aren't any Chinese. In other words, today is the first time in the virtual game world, becoming the first one to receive this honor in China. This is also a brutal slap to the other countries' players that constantly use this matter to laugh at China. A burst of cheers and praise erupted all around China. After the first announcement, the media began to spread the news to every corner of China. From this moment the Chinese players all remembered the name of Ling Chen. He brought surprise to the Chinese server to be the first one to kill a celestial, but this time it is not only surprise, it's a historic moment and a big glory. From this moment, the players in China server, there is no one who doesn't know the name Ling Chen. At the same time, there are many players that stood completely dumbfounded. Especially those who stand on the top of the level ranking. Everyone was increasing their level, they were confident in leaving the Novice village first. However, looking at their current level, they couldn't believe someone had already reached level 10. Ling Chen. The first person in the world to get a celestial item. To reach level 10 so quickly, he must relied on the celestial item. The attribute of a celestial equipment must be extremely powerful, his grinding speed is obviously more efficient than the others. This is the only reason of how he can level up so fast. Ling Chen knows the announcement caused a large uproar in the world, he is just too lazy to care about it, he turns his eyes away, look around the place where he landed. A few meters not far from him, he sees a stone surrounded by light, the stone must be the resurrection place. The resurrection stone is where you can design the resurrection point, after death people can be transported directly here. He is standing in a huge square, extremely vast, however there are only a small number of NPCs moving about. The feeling the NPCs here gave him was completely different from those few at the Novice village, their dress-up was like people from two worlds. Far away, he can see various types of orderly and beautiful buildings. Ling Chen almost has the feeling of living in a modern city. First things first, he needed to change classes. Ling Chen looked around for a little, selecting a NPC and walking towards him, asking him where he can change class. Suddenly, Lunar Scourge flickered a black light, the figure of a voluptuous woman appeared before him, he was forced to stop. Qiu. Didn't I say before that without my command you cannot randomly come out? Ling Chen said helplessly. He knows it clearly, though this witch called him Little Master, she wouldn't listen to his words. But this time Ling Chen is surprised, the usual bewitching smile that can make people go crazy didn't appear on her face, she looks sluggish, after a pause letting out a whisper, it's strange. In my dream I seem to have sensed a saint orb, or am I mistaken? A saint orb? Hearing the light whisper from Ling Chen, her eyelids jumped slightly. Qiu didn't speak, she stayed silent for a moment, she was trying hard to search for something, but gave up, her beautiful face turned towards Ling Chen, with her bewitching smile. There is nothing, young master, I was in deep sleep, and dreaming, after all I really want to find the saint orb, that's all. Forgotten continent. Ling Chen holding back his excitement, replied faintly. Oh, Qiu's eyes are slightly brightened, she twisted her feminine waist, looking at every direction. What a beautiful place, those buildings are really pretty. 10,000 years, the forgotten continent is still forgotten continent, but it is not that forgotten continent in my memories. Looks like I need to refamiliarize myself with this place. Little master, take me around this place, okay? Go back inside Lunar Scourge immediately. Ling Chen grinded his teeth, giving the order without hesitation. If he takes this witch walking around in Azure Dragon City, think about it, wherever they went, they will draw gazes of men and even women. If those males NPCs lose control under Qiyu's charm, the consequence will be unthinkable. To go shopping around with Qiyu, that is absolutely unacceptable. Her curved lips outlined a wronged expression. Even the heart of a stone-cold person would melt with just a glance. Qiyu plaintively said in grievance, "Okay, I'll just obediently listen to Little Master's words. I'll return to that dark place now. But, this place is Forgotten Continent, it is no longer the Outer Islands, so I need to first help Little Master hide Lunar Scourge's appearance and aura." Qiyu gently moved her feet, walking in front of Ling Chen, extending a slender, soft snow-white hand and waving over Ling Chen's left wrist. Immediately, the faint black light released by Lunar Scourge completely disappeared, even its appearance quickly blurred in his vision, changing. Soon it actually turned into the shape of a regular black bracelet. Okay, like this there should no problems. Looking at Lunar Scourge's appearance in satisfaction, Qiyu gave a tiny smile. Ling Chen was slightly surprised. This witch, she can actually change Lunar Scourge's outer appearance. Only, is this change a real change, or just a visual cover-up? Like this, you're certain it won't be discovered? Ling Chen said. The lifespan of the Moon God clan's 3 goddesses is extremely long, for them 10,000 years is just a short flash. But the oracles are different. Their lifespan is at the longest just a couple thousand years. So amongst the Moon God clan the only ones that have actually seen Lunar Scourge are only the 3 goddesses. They are superior beings that do not live in this worldly world. How could they step foot on Forgotten Continent, this small place? They especially won't pay attention to a little otherworld human. So this kind of simple disguise is already enough. As for its aura, it should be even less of a problem. Even if the 3 goddesses come themselves, if they don't purposely inspect it, then it will not be discovered. But they are the 3 great goddesses, how could they go and pay attention to the low-grade Luna chain of a little human like you? What do I have to do to find the rest of the exclusive orbs? Ling Chen asked. The primary reason that Ling Chen desires to find the rest of the exclusive orbs is not for Lunar Scourge, but because the powerfulness of the Gemini orb filled him with incredibly strong curiosity and desire towards the rest of the orbs. After all, with the powerfulness of the Gemini orb, the other orbs are definitely of the same level of strength, and the Saint orbs will be even stronger beyond imagination. The great temptation that they carried was something that nobody would be able to resist, including Ling Chen. Very simple. Qiyu's response made Ling Chen dazed for a moment, but then her following words made his face almost turn black: travel across every corner of Forgotten Continent, including the surrounding waters. Lunar Scourge's exclusive orbs will not leave Forgotten Continent. If you search every place on Forgotten Continent, of course you'll be able to find them all. That's just rubbish. Ling Chen said while biting his teeth. But besides this, I don't have any other ideas either. Qiyu pursed her lips, smiling, seemingly very satisfied towards that expression filled with black lines on Ling Chen's face, although, if you get particularly close to a god orb or a saint orb, I might be able to sense it. But don't have too much hope, little master. A condition for me to sense the existence of an exclusive orb is that its power needs to be in an active state, in the middle of actively or passively releasing its power. Or else, unless you get within a 10-meter radius of it, I will still not be able to sense it. Little master, work hard. My future is entirely on you. Right now Lunar Scourge's power is incomplete, so I have to stay in that dark place for long periods of time. The amount of time I can come out like this every day is only 10 minutes, if you can find all of the orbs I'll be able to completely leave Lunar Scourge. At that time I will forever be Little Master's little servant, serving Little Master day and night. Whatever Little Master wants to do to me is okay. Qiyu's voice stimulated Ling Chen's mind like a series of electrical currents, making his entire body feel numb and forcibly igniting his flames of desire. The more it burned, the stronger it became. Only until now did he understand why this witch constantly remained in Lunar Scourge. Turns out that she can only manifest outside of Lunar Scourge for 10 minutes a day. And it seems like she is sleeping most of the time in Lunar Scourge. If it's like this, then hurry up and return to Lunar Scourge. Ling Chen said while holding his breath, avoiding her eyes that were like water and her enchantingly mesmerizing face. Thank God she can only stay outside for a max of 10 minutes a day. If she is constantly in front of me, then I really will have a time where I won't be able to resist. The witch that can shorten people's lives finally returned to Lunar Scourge. Ling Chen took a couple of breaths to calm down his heart before running forwards while taking in his surroundings. After only going the distance of a couple steps, another system notification sounded throughout every corner of the world. Ding! World announcement. The second person to leave the Novice village has emerged. It is America Warzone player Eve. This event has been recorded into the World Hall of Fame. Player Eve has gained 100 fame and 100 SP reward. Hope that all the players may continue to work hard and leave the Novice village earlier, stepping into a new beginning. Ling Chen's footsteps immediately stopped. Eve, he said this name under his breath, his eyes flashing and then continuing to move his feet walking forward. The most important reason that he was able to reach LV-10 so quickly and leave the Novice village is that he killed a LV-10 fairy beast, making him jump 4 levels and reaching a level height that other players were unable to match from an unremarkable level, also pulling apart a long distance from those top players. If he did not encounter the greedy giant toad and instead farmed regularly, with the amount of time he spends online it would take a lot more days to reach LV-10. And right now, it's not even 3 minutes from when he left the Novice village. You can pretty much say that him and Eve both left the Novice village at the same time. A difference of 3 minutes really can't be considered a difference. Ling Chen encountered a very fortuitous experience to lead far ahead of the rest of the players, and this Eve. Even though I don't want to meet you again, but between us, there will still be a battle in the end. Or maybe, you've already guessed that Ling Tian is me. Ling Chen lightly muttered to himself. This notification sound brought to Ling Chen a brief moment of sentiment, but what it brought to the world's players instead was deep shock. Because they suddenly realized that, there is actually someone that moved ahead of Eve. This is something that no one could do ever since Eve appeared in the virtual game world. A godlike existence among players, the only SSS rank player recognized in the world. A never-before-defeated or surpassed woman. This Ling Tian, a never-before-heard of name, who exactly is he? Him being able to lead ahead of Eve, is it simply a moment of chance and luck, or does he truly possess that kind of strength? Finding an NPC and asking where the class change location is, Ling Chen headed forward. The class change hall is not too far away from the center of the plaza. Along the way you need to pass by Azure Dragon City's biggest commercial street. Ling Chen did not continue moving forward, instead first strolling around the commercial street for some time. Boss-san, I'd like to expand my bag. Ling Chen said to that storehouse boss that looked even more like a pig than a pig when he walked into the central storehouse of Azure Dragon City. With business coming, a smile immediately spread across the storehouse boss's face, his 2 already overly small eyes almost being buried by the fat on his face. Oh. Could it be that you are a hero from an alternate world that we've heard about? Expansion to 100 spaces is 100 gold, expansion to 150 spaces is 300 gold, expansion to 200 spaces is 1000 gold. The space in a player's initial inventory is 50 spaces, this is about just enough to use at the Novice stage, but once you reach the capital city it is entirely not enough. But for players at the current stage this expansion fee is undoubtedly an astronomical number, although right now Ling Chen has a massive sum of 1798 gold. He did not hesitate, directly handing over 1000 gold. Getting the 1000 gold coins, the storehouse boss's 2 little eyes instantly lit up like light bulbs. He hurriedly put away the gold coins, his mouth repeatedly muttering, "Holy crap, rich guy, wealthy, rich kid." A beam of light flickered across Ling Chen's body, soon after Ling Chen gained the notification that his inventory had already been expanded to 200 spaces. The storehouse boss said smilingly, "All right, hero from another world, your inventory space has already been successfully expanded to the current space limit, come find me again when you reach LV 50. At that time you'll only need 3,000 gold coins to expand to 300 spaces. Usually if you have any important items you can deposit them here, 20% discount and no extra fees, dear Ling Chen." At #UN%, Azure Dragon City's weapon shop is also filled with white equipment, even an iron equipment cannot be found. In the item shop is displayed a bunch of items that cannot be bought at the Novice village, like higher grade potions and energy crystals. Green potion, intermediate HP recovery potion, after use instantly recovers 800 HP, cooldown time, 5 seconds, price, 2 silver. Cyan potion, advanced HP recovery potion, after use instantly recovers 1500 HP, cooldown time, 5 seconds, price, 5 silver. Deep blue potion, intermediate MP recovery potion, after use instantly recovers 200 MP, cooldown time, 5 seconds, price, 1 silver. Purple potion, advanced MP recovery potion, after use instantly recovers 400 MP, cooldown time, 5 seconds, price, 5 silver. Elementary strength crystal, type, energy crystal, grade, elementary, attribute, fire, effect, physical attack strength plus 6%. Price, 200 gold. Elementary magic crystal, type, energy crystal, grade, elementary, attribute, water, effect, magic attack strength plus 6%. Price, 200 gold. Elementary health crystal, type, energy crystal, grade, elementary, attribute, water, effect, HP plus 6%. Price, 200 gold. Elementary dodge crystal. Elementary hit crystal. Elementary speed crystal. The effect of elementary crystals is double of beginner crystals, but the price is 10 times of beginner crystals. And the highest grade crystals sold here are elementary, there is not even a shadow of intermediate energy crystals. Cough cough, hello young hero, if you have a Luna chain the crystals can endow you with additional strength. The stronger your Luna chain, the greater the help that they can give you. If one day you surpass LV 50, you will be able to head to Forgotten City at the heart of the continent. There you can buy higher grade energy crystals. Of course, when killing monsters there is also a certain probability of higher grade crystals appearing. The middle-aged item store boss said kindly. An increase of 6% to an attribute is a relatively strong increase in strength, moreover his lunar scourge has a whole 12 sockets, of them 9 can be socketed with crystals and orbs of any grade. If he buys 9 different energy crystals and sockets them, his strength will increase greatly. Ling Chen looked at the 800 gold coins that remained after expanding his inventory, hesitating for a while. In the end he did not buy a single one. Walking out of the item store he headed straight for Azure Dragon City's class change hall. In his knowledge, learning skills after changing classes seems to require gold coins to buy skill books from the trainer, and it could be a relatively big expense. There's a need to first hold on to these gold coins. Author's note, what will the MC's profession be? Why don't you guys guess, warrior? Guess again.